Happy New Year, everybody. Well, it's a big day in Big D with the 61st Annual Southwestern Bell Cotton Bowl Classic as 14th-ranked Kansas State takes on number 5, BYU. Senior quarterback Brian Cavanaugh leads the Wildcats. He has been anything but wild, throwing only 6 interceptions while tossing 20, count them, touchdown passes. K-State backfield Mike Lawrence leads the team with 10 touchdowns and needs only 18 yards for the 5th 1,000-yard rushing season in school history. Now, the BYU attack, that's confetti, by the way, averages more than 40 points a game and is led by senior quarterback Steve Sarkisian. He's been a marksman, completing 68.8% of his passes for 33 touchdowns and more than 4,000 yards. Providing additional punch for the Cougars' offense is receiver K.O. Kealalui. He averages more than 18 yards per catch. Got that one. Joining me in the CBS studio on this festive New Year's Day is my bowling team. Craig James and Coach Lou Holtz, 2 names you can actually pronounce. Happy New Year, you guys.
Hey, Happy New Year.
This is kind of what you live for, is playing on New Year's Day. First time for these 2 teams, but when you're playing football, this is what you want, isn't it, Coach?
Well, the second stringer at Kent State, I didn't get a chance to play on New Year's. From the time you put on a pair of shoes or pumped up your first football, you hoped and dreamed to be able to play in a game on New Year's Day. So there has to be a great air of excitement in both locker rooms.
13 years ago today, as a young reporter, I interviewed this young man down at the Cotton Bowl. It doesn't seem that long ago, does it?
Not at all. The hair's changed for both of us. I mean, a little bit different scenario.
You have some.
You know, this is a ball game, though. If you're Kansas State, you want to show that you deserve to be here. BYU, so much controversy on whether or not these 2 teams should be playing in the Cotton Bowl. They should have taken Colorado. Well, there's a lot of people out there that will find out today why these 2 football teams are playing. They're good football teams in the Cotton Bowl.
Talk about that in just a second. Don't forget, though, folks, tonight at 8 o'clock on CBS, we begin our coverage of the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl as the number 7 team, Penn State, the Nittany Lions, from the Big Ten meet the Big 12 champ and 20th-ranked Texas Longhorns. You're talking about what Craig was talking about there in BYU, and Bobby Bowden has been quoted saying, hey, we should be playing BYU in the Alliance tomorrow night.
Well, Bobby can say that. He doesn't have a chance to play. He's going to play Florida. I'd say I'd like to play this or that. But the fact remains, BYU feels they've been slighted. And I can't say whether they have been or not, but I can say this. In Kansas State, they're going to play an awfully good football team. It's going to 4th straight bowl. I think Coach Snyder's done a tremendous job. But the secret to this game, from my point of view, is I personally think it'll be a rather low-scoring game, is how many yards BYU runs after they catch the football. They're going to throw and they're going to catch it. They're too good. You give that to them. Check and see if half their yardage isn't after they run, after they catch the ball.
You're saying low-scoring game. You're saying high-scoring game.
I kind of disagree with you, Coach. You know, of course, you won a lot more football games than I have as a football coach.
I lost a lot more, too.
Yeah, well, I think it's one of those games where you come out and there's so much athleticism on this field that you start and you look at Kansas State. It's a football team that has a backfield capable of giving them a chance to be successful. Mike Lawrence at running back is a guy that had over 1,000 yards for the season. He's got to be successful on the ground and throwing the football. Throw it to the flat. He had 27 receptions on the year. Their big play guy, hands down, the top in the Big 8 ever at receiving footballs is Kevin Lockett, an athletic guy. The last 5 games of the season, he showed up. He had 46 catches in those last 5 games. But the guy that has most publicity in this football game, period, is the quarterback, Steve Sarkisian.
Against K-State secondary today, how's he going to do?
Well, I think he'll do very well. He's a product of the system. He's also a fine quarterback. But BYU will always be able to throw the football. The key is, can they protect it, and can they run the ball as successfully as they have been the last half of the season?
Well, there will be a great challenge for Sarkisian, though, because Chris Canty can play defense. He is a man that when you go on the football field and your defensive coordinator, you say, hey, line up over there and just take care of your business, and that's exactly what he's going to try to do. Try to show the pro scouts that he has a chance to really excel in the National Football League going against a good passing offense like he does. He's a lot like Deion Sanders. Put Deion Sanders out there and you just say, go on over and play and do your job. Same thing they're going to try to do with Chris Canty.
All right, let's fire up the scoreboard, fellas, and see what else is going on in college football this afternoon. In the Citrus Bowl, Tennessee and Northwestern could be the final game for Peyton Manning and Darnell Autry. It's 14-0 the Volunteers over the Wildcats in the first quarter. In the Gator Bowl, North Carolina and West Virginia, North Carolina leads 10-0 in the second quarter. Alabama and Michigan in the Outback Bowl, it's 10-6, and Alabama now leads Michigan in the Outback Bowl as Dwayne Rudd brings back this Brian Greasy pass for 88 yards.
Only appropriate, man. Gene Stallings' last game as a coach at Alabama, and who's going to help him win it if they do? Defense, and his big man Rudd comes through.
History-making run there, and 10-6 is the score there. We'll be here throughout the day and night with all the bowl action. Coming up, it's the Southwestern Bell Cotton Bowl Classic after a message. Enjoy the game, everybody. See you later.
CBS Sports presentation of the Southwestern Bell Cotton Bowl Classic is sponsored by your friends and neighbors at Southwestern Bell. Here's to classics to come. The all-new Park Avenue by Buick, the power of understatement. Coors Light, and by Prime Star, mini-dish satellite television.
January 2nd, 1949. Of course, there was the Doker, the little All-American who gave a brilliant all-around performance. His ball handling and maneuvering of the team was the Doak Walker pattern, and that's the best. And the Cotton Bowl Queen was one of the most comely brunettes of Texas, or anywhere. Of course, you can guess whose girlfriend she is. Doak Walker's. The boy is really living. Morris Frank, Houston Post.
What'll they write next? We can't wait to find out.
It's great being a physical educator. People make fun of us and say, well, get a real job. I think of athletics as a classroom of its own because it's an arena for moral choices that have to be made spontaneously. It's a test of your honesty, your character. There are just so many dimensions about it that are real life.
The Cotton Bowl, a stadium as enduring as college football itself. From the start, it's been a place where great players flourished. Legends roamed. Men who would stand above the rest. Players who would make their marks forever. And moments that would last a lifetime.
Along with the man to the clear in midfield. He's at the 45, the 40. Davis is going to go all the way.
Street gives to the second man for a touchdown for Texas.
Montana dropping back. He looks toward the end zone. When he throws it, it is incomplete. It's a touchdown. It's a touchdown.
Right to left. Lastinger on the keeper. Right side to the 10, to the 5. He is over. Touchdown.
Today, the past is history, and the future is now for the Kansas State Wildcats as they look to finish a 9-2 season with a New Year's Day Bowl victory. Meanwhile, the 5th-ranked BYU Cougars are just one win away from an NCAA record 14-win season. It's the Cats and the Cougars in the 61st Cotton Bowl. Inside this venerable stadium, a sellout crowd of nearly 70,000 will soon be watching the number 5-ranked Cougars of BYU and the 14th-ranked Wildcats of Kansas State in the 61st Southwestern Bell Cotton Bowl Classic. Outside the bowl, fans are being treated to Texas-style hospitality as they mill around the entrance to the stadium and head on inside to take their seats. Hi, everyone, and Happy New Year. I'm Tim Ryan here in Dallas, and the Cougars have arrived here at the Cotton Bowl, champions of the Western Athletic Conference, still burning about being excluded from the Final 6 of the Bowl Alliance despite winning 13 games, but happy to be here playing on New Year's Day. Kansas State with a 9-2 record and a record number of fans, nearly 45,000, as the Sea of Purple will attest. They're here to prove that the Big 12 is not only bigger, but better. For more on the Wildcats, let's go inside of my broadcast partner, Phil McConkey.
Thanks, Tim. When you talk about this Kansas State offense, you've got to start with their quarterback, Brian Cavanaugh. His touchdown to interception ratio is better than 3-1, and his favorite target is the record-setting wide receiver, Kevin Lockett. He caught 72 passes this season, but they must control the ball, the line of scrimmage. They want to run the ball with Mike Lawrence, number 20, who gained over 1,000 yards this season. Defensively, the Wildcats' goal is to apply pressure to Steve Sarkisian. Leading the charge is Niall Wyron, an undersized defensive end who leads the team in sacks. The secondary is led by maybe the best cover guy in college football today, two-time All-American Chris Canty. But he'll have his hands full with those BYU receivers. To tell us about the Cougars, let's go up the tunnel outside the locker room to our sideline reporter for today's game, Steve Davis.
Hey, thank you, Phil, and Happy New Year, everyone. I'm at the top of the ramp of the Cotton Bowl, and here's where a lot of hopes and dreams and prayers of many great players have kind of smacked with reality. This is a big game for both of these teams. They're first-timers on January 1. For one, Steve Sarkisian, he's got a real challenge today. What makes it all year long, he's been able to spread the wealth around to a group of receivers, 14 different receivers, of which 28 have caught, 6 have caught either 28 balls or more. One problem today is that Tulu Mealy has caught 46 balls, a tight end. He was injured in the WAC championship ball game. He will not be available today. He is the emotional spear leader of this football team. And what's got to happen today, somebody's got to step up big time. The running game's got to work. It's going to be a lot of fun today in the Cotton Bowl. Let's go back to Tim Ryan.
Thank you, Steve. You can see the Kansas State Wildcats are jumping and ready to rock and roll here at the Cotton Bowl. The Wildcats, with 45,000 fans, have turned this into a home game, although BYU is officially the home team. There's head coach Bill Snyder, who turned the program around in Manhattan, Kansas. And he says, let's go. Purple jerseys predominate, but you can see the enthusiasm of the BYU fans. Fewer in number, but certainly not in spirit and enthusiasm for this Cotton Bowl matchup. The number 5 ranked BYU Cougars from Brigham Young University in Provo, Utah. And let's go down to the field and Steve Davis.
Hey, Lavelle, this is a big opportunity for you on January 1. Is there a point to be proven today?
No, not really. We just want to go out and play well, have a great game. We've had a great time. We want to play well. That's a big thing. If we do that, then we'll be fine.
Coach, early in the ball game, what are your biggest concerns?
Not turn the ball over, not make a big mistake. You know, we want to play good on defense, play well on defense, and then, you know, hopefully get something going offensively early.
Good luck, Coach. Thank you very much. Let's go, Tim.
Lavelle Edwards, 25 years as head coach in Provo. 8th winningest active coach in college football. Leading on the Cougars of BYU. We'll be returning to Dallas for the kickoff of the Southwestern Bell Cotton Bowl Classic in a moment.
You want to play sports at an NCAA Division I or II school?
You must be certified by the NCAA Initial Eligibility Clearinghouse. Get one of these student release forms from your coach or guidance counselor and send it to the clearinghouse. Remember, if you're not certified, you can't compete as a freshman in Division I or II. For more information, call toll-free 800-638-3731.
Want to play? Know the rules.
This message provided by the NCAA.
Guys, I know you're wondering what to watch now that Monday Night Football's over. Well, come on over to Inc. We got new girls.
Hey, wait a minute. That is not true. He's lying.
Honey, I've been on television for years. I know what viewers want. Girls, girls, girls. New, new, new.
Idiot.
You'll see. Ba-boom.
Monday football's off. Big Comedy Monday's on. And all new Inc. on CBS.
We're back at the Cotton Bowl in Dallas. Number 14, Kansas State from the Big 12. And number 5, BYU. Champions of the Western Athletic Conference. 71 degrees, 50% humidity, light winds, and it's going to be a beautiful day after morning fog again that has persisted all week here in Dallas, usually dissipating in early afternoon, and the skies have opened up, some sunshine, slightly overcast. They have met 7 times previously. Kansas State leads 4-3, but in the last outing in 1977, it was BYU waxing the Wildcats 39-0. You know who the quarterbacks were? Gifford Nielsen and Mark Wilson. And the punter was a guy by the name of Jim McMahon, a freshman who went on to become one of the great quarterbacks in BYU history. And you'll be hearing more about that long list of outstanding quarterbacks at BYU as the game goes along. And it is Steve Sarkisian's time at BYU. BYU won the toss, elected to kick off. Ethan Putchman, number 37, opens the Cotton Bowl Classic. Chris Canty deep in the end zone, a booming kickoff. He will not bring it out. So the Wildcats start with the first offensive possession from their own 20-yard line. And it is Brian Cavanaugh, a senior from Naperville, Illinois, passing at 59%, 20 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. And Cavanaugh coming over from El Camino Junior College in his second full year as the Kansas State quarterback. Andre Anderson is the starting wideout with Kevin Lockett. And we're ready to go. Slot left. This is Lawrence. About 6 yards for Mike Lawrence, the junior, from Carroll City, Florida. Looking at the Kansas State offense, Lawrence the running back, Brian Goolsby the fullback, Lockett, Dean, the wide receivers, and Jarrett Gross-Didier is the tight end. Weiner, Malutu, Johnson, O'Neal, and Ryan Young across the front. 2nd and 3, Kansas State. Goolsby in now at running back, leading the tailback Mike Lawrence. Lawrence again for the Kansas State first down to the 34-yard line. Defensively for the Cougars of BYU, Ed Keel gets the start at left defensive end. Bloomfield and Darren Yancey. Yancey shifting over for the injured Ayu, and Byron Frisch, the right defensive end. Reed, Muirbrook, and Martin are the linebackers. And the secondary, 2 solid corners, Morgan and McTire. Eddie Sampson and Chris Ellison at the safeties, and Lane Hale will also see a lot of action there. The flag is down on first down. The pass complete to Lockett at the 40-yard line. A pickup of 5, depending on the flag.
It's a guy you'll see a lot of today, Kevin Lockett. We said in the opening, he's the record-setting wide receiver for Kansas State. He's caught 217 passes during a prolific college career.
Offside is signaled against BYU. And the referee today, Courtney Mazzi from the Atlantic Coast Conference, in fact, the entire officiating crew from the ACC, makes the first call of the day.
All sides on the defense, 5 yards, first down.
So it's a first down at the 35-yard line of Kansas State. Opening offensive series, BYU electing to kick off, having won the toss, trying to stop the Wildcats in this first possession. Bill Snyder in his 8th season, we talked about the turnaround there at Manhattan. He's rolled up a 55-36-1 record. Quite a turnaround, 4 straight bowl games. First down, Lawrence stopped behind the line of scrimmage, probably lost about a half a yard. And the middle linebacker, Shea Muirbrook, number 46, and Spencer Reed, number 41, combining.
Tim, their goal is to keep that prolific BYU offense off the field by controlling the line of scrimmage and try to run the ball. They think that they're bigger, more physical, and they're going to try to ram it down BYU's throat, control it with some short passes also mixed in.
Kansas State in white, BYU in blue, 2nd and 5. The pitch to Lawrence, and he is met by Muirbrook, who read it perfectly. Had a clear lane to the running back. Muirbrook, the all-WAC Defensive Player of the Year for BYU.
Yeah, Muirbrook is a guy, he was playing in the East-West Shrine game. He wasn't fooled at all. He's done a lot of homework, and he just zeroed in on Mike Lawrence. You don't see them run the option that much because Kavanaugh is not very fleet of foot, but Muirbrook comes in, he makes a lot of tackles. He'll be all over the field. The other day, he had that look in his eye. He looks like a classic middle linebacker, Tim.
He does indeed. Loss of 3, 3rd and 8. Nickel defense in for BYU. Ben Cook, number 30, comes in. And now Brian Kavanaugh changing up the play as he sees that nickel. Kavanaugh throwing. It's complete out the right side to Lawrence. Out of bounds at the 40-yard line. Got back to the previous line of scrimmage, a gain of 3.
I think we've got a penalty here, holding.
Another flag down. Infraction is against Kansas State. Courtney Mazzi, the referee, and his microphone not working on that call. Delay of game as they made that late call. And Phil, that's something you and I have been talking about all week here, watching and learning about Kansas State, that they really push the clock down to the zeros on almost every play.
Every play. They've got a passing game coordinator, a running game coordinator. They each have plays. They send it down, and then the head coach Snyder decides if he wants a run or a pass. Then they have to signal it in, and the quarterback has to make the reads and adjustments and change it at the line of scrimmage. It takes a lot of time.
2 tight ends in now. Justin Swift, the sophomore, number 86, has joined Gross Didier. And again, another change here. You can see the quarterback Kavanaugh making the adjustment. And another flag down. Kavanaugh's pass is complete. The first down yardage. Caught by Jimmy Dean, number 22. Senior from Coconut Creek, Florida. But a flag down before Kavanaugh even threw the ball.
That's going to be an offsides on Henry Bloomfield, number 91. That play will count. A big gainer for Jimmy Dean. Dean's in a slot up at the top. A good cadence call. Changed up the cadence that time and got him to jump. He just looks downfield. He'll stay in the pocket. His strengths are this guy likes to hang in there. He's a big, strong guy. Doesn't have great feet. But Dean on the corner, they're paying a lot of attention to Lockett. Lockett that time just curled it up, had about 5 yards, and took a lot of defenders with him.
Lockett, their main guy, 72 catches on the season. He'll make a bunch today, you can be sure, but he was a decoy there. First down, Wildcats. Lawrence, the running back, gets a couple. Out the left side. Running behind the tackle, Todd Weiner. And into BYU territory for the first time. This is the opening possession at the Cotton Bowl. Tim Ryan, Phil McConkey, Steve Davis. Hoping you're enjoying your New Year's Day here on CBS. Bill Snyder, head coach of the Wildcats. 3 wide receivers now. Anderson, Dean, and Lockett on 2nd down and 8. Short drop from Kavanaugh. Into the flat. Off target intended for Andre Anderson. Coverage from the linebacker, Brad Martin, number 10.
It falls incomplete.
They rolled coverage at the top, paying a lot of attention again to Lockett. The corner rolled up. He had safety help deep. They know this at Kansas State, and they're going to try to get the ball over to these other 2 guys, Dean and Anderson. Dean's a track guy, and Anderson can fly upfield also. Caught 23 passes during the season.
Ben Cook comes in to make a nickel package for BYU on 3rd down. There are their numbers, allowing 38% of the time. A first down conversion from 3rd. Let's see what happens here. Shotgun Kavanaugh. Intended for Anderson, and he was rushed enough to throw that ball a little bit early, and it cost him.
Here comes Yancey, number 97. He goes untouched right up the middle of the field, and Kavanaugh has to get rid of the ball before he wanted to, and goes down to the turf.
Well, BYU accomplished what they wanted. It took a little while. They have stopped Kansas State at midfield. Remember, they won the toss, elected to kick off. And so they have showed that they can play some defense against K-State, at least on this first series. Garcia standing at his 35-yard line. James Dye waiting for it at the 10. Dangerous punt returner, number 6. Garcia's punt comes down at the 6-yard line into the end zone. Nice try by Kenny to keep it out, unable to do so. 49-yard punt for Garcia, who averages 44.3. It'll be BYU ball when we return.
Well, the greatest cotton field in the whole darn land doesn't have any cotton in it. But in Dallas, Texas on New Year's Day, there's a game there and folks want to win it. But I'm Cotton Bowl true. How about you? I'm Cotton Bowl true. How about you? Come January 1st, tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to the Cotton Bowl. How about you? Now you may show your allegiance to any bowl your team's got a spot in. But as for me, I don't care who's in Big D. I will always pick Cotton. Well, I'm Cotton Bowl true. How about you? I'm Cotton Bowl true. How about you? Come January 1st, tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to the Cotton Bowl. How about you?
It's just a natural fact of life. As we get older, some of our parts don't work as well. Fortunately, with older cars, you can get those parts replaced at Meineke.
Well, we take good care of every car, young or old. Mufflers, brakes, CD joints, shocks, and struts. High-quality parts and service at a reasonable price.
Meineke keeps cars of all ages running like new. Too bad they can't do anything about this 1949 classic.
At Meineke, you're not going to pay a lot, but you'll get a lot.
I guarantee it.
Ice Sport, the scent of exhilaration. New from Aquavelva. Also available in deodorant and antiperspirant.
Huh? Is your dandruff sending the wrong signals? You're out! Get Selsun Power. Doctors recommend Selsun Blue #1, so don't send the wrong signals. Get Selsun Power.
Joe Paterno leads Penn State into battle against one of the hottest teams in the country, the Texas Longhorns. The Tostitos Fiesta Bowl in prime time tonight on CBS.
We're live on CBS at the Cotton Bowl in Dallas, Texas. No score. BYU will have the ball for the first time. They kicked off and stopped Kansas State at midfield. And following the Wildcat punt, it is BYU ball. Steve Sarkisian passing at 70%. He is the leader in pass efficiency in the nation. On first down to Dye. Dye's got some room. Dye is at first down, breaks down the sideline and knocked out at the 45-yard line by Fogel. James Dye, the senior from Los Angeles, California.
They had 8 guys up on the line of scrimmage, just screened it out to Dye. Dye's one of the 2 guys that they'll go to in the absence of Mealy, their great tight end. The other will be Dustin Johnson from the fullback position. He's number 32. But Dye can fly flat out, and he may be one of the best kick returners in the country, Tim.
Let's take a look at the BYU offense. Dustin Johnson, the running back, along with Brian McKenzie, Kayla Louie, McGuire, and Dye, the wide receivers. Tate, Johnson, Moore, Cox, and Anderson across the front. Tight end is Chad Lewis. Sarkisian flushed, scrambles for about 2. Fogel and Jerome Evans, the tackle, number 98, made the stop. It'll leave second and about 8 to go. Defensively for the Wildcats, Wyron, Timmons, Evans, and Swayzer across the front. The linebackers are speedy. Travis Oakes and freshman Mark Simino on the outside. Deshaun Fogel in the middle. And the secondary is excellent. Joe Gordon back from an injury, joined by Chris Canty on the corners. Smith and Johnson are the safeties. Sarkisian, good catch out the right side by Kaipo McGuire, number 80, the senior from Pearl City, Hawaii. And it'll be a first down, BYU at midfield.
Kaipo's a guy number 80. He's 5'11", 180 pounds, and he says his one wish, Tim, in life is to be 6'3". I think all wide receivers under 6 feet say the same thing.
So the Cougars with a first down at midfield. In comes Ronnie Jenkins for the first time, the brilliant freshman from Port Hueneme, California, near Oxnard. And then running back, number 16. Dustin Johnson joining him in the H-back position, number 32. On the reverse, it's Kealalui. He's got running room. Cuts inside for a first down to the 35. Deshaun Fogel, the linebacker, made the tackle.
What they want to do to the Kansas State defense, they're very active, very fast, and they over-pursue very well. So they're going to do some misdirection, BYU. You can see Kealalui coming around on the reverse. The whole flow of Kansas State is to the fake side, and Kealalui, he can scoot upfield. He's the stronger of these two wide receivers for BYU at 200 pounds.
15-yard gain and a first down for the Cougars. That's McKenzie. Ryan McKenzie digs for about 4. The junior from Sarasota, Florida. Came into the game with 950 yards on the season. He and Jenkins averaging 5.7 a carry, so that BYU running attack, Phil, has been the big difference this year in their outstanding 13-1 record. Lavelle Edwards finally, after 25 years, has a complimentary running attack.
He said that it's not that they didn't run before, but they didn't run as effectively as they have this season.
2nd down and 7. Straight drop by Sarkisian. He's in trouble. Gets it off. Finding the man in the middle. The release man, McGuire. And it turns into about a 3-yard pickup. Good reaction by both the quarterback and the receiver. McGuire seeing him in trouble.
They had 3 wide receivers to the left side. Sarkisian's looking that way to cause some mismatches. Good pressure. He does a pretty good job of avoiding the rush and goes to the dump-off guy, McGuire. Cahoon, who had a great catch we saw in the opening, a flat-out, wonderful diving catch, a receiver's dream.
Ronnie Jenkins back into the lineup. They're in the pro set now on 3rd down and 4. Inside the 30 of Kansas State. Sarkisian gets some time. Now flushed and almost caught by Jenkins out of the backfield, number 16. Ball a little bit off the mark.
He's frustrated. He wanted to convert that first down. Showed a lot of poise and savvy hanging around that pocket for a long time, looking upfield. When most quarterbacks will bail, run upfield, he's going to wait for those 5 guys in the pattern. Somebody's going to get open, and he'll try to wait for the last second to get them the ball, and it almost worked.
Very good coverage downfield. This will be Potchman attempting a 47-yard field goal, and he's going to be well short. Did not get a good look on that ball, although he has a 51-yarder to his credit. Ethan Potchman missing from 47, and so Kansas State holds BYU. And they'll have the ball when we return to the Cotton Bowl.
Welcome to Park Avenue, the ultimate urban environment. So quiet, it shuts out urban unpleasantness. So beautiful, it improves even the most elegant street in America, which incidentally seems to have been named after our new car. The all-new Park Avenue by Buick. The power of understatement.
What's with young players these days? Take Kevin Garnett.
I was out of my league.
I got to help this guy. He was shaving with a foam. My word. Hey, Head Shave Gel has 6 lubricants, so it protects better than foam.
Nobody told me.
No. Front to back. Front to back.
Edge Shave Gel. Save your skin.
I think it changed his life.
I mean, I love my husband, but he'll buy anything. Good morning, sweetheart.
Morning. What?
Like last week, he wanted to spend $700 on a satellite dish. A gadget guy. So I called Prime Star. Prime Star's a service, so there's no equipment to buy. You get the dish, digital picture and sound, and it starts at about $1 a day. He's so happy with Prime Star, he got me these.
For the best value in satellite TV, call 1-800-PRIME-STAR or visit your local Radio Shack.
To the pursuit of justice, they will devote their lives. For the sake of America, they will fight for the truth. In the name of glory, they will risk it all. Just call us, Jag. In the courtroom or on the killing fields.
We're unarmed.
The nation's best defense is a pair of criminal prosecutors. Commander Harmon Rabb.
I was always a sucker for dress whites.
Major Sarah McKenzie.
Major, I never had you pegged for such a romantic.
New year, new network, new champions. JAG premieres CBS Friday.
Tim Ryan with Phil McConkey. Steve Davis at the Cotton Bowl were scoreless in the first period. It is Kansas State ball at their 29-yard line, having stopped the Cougars of BYU. A missed 47-yard field goal attempt by Potchman. Lawrence and Goolsby are the running backs in the I formation. And again, Brian Kavanaugh changing it up. The Wildcat quarterback, number 12. This is Lawrence. Lawrence to the 33-yard line, a gain of close to 4. Byron Frisch, defensive end number 93, making the tackle. Lawrence rushed for 982 yards, averaging almost 90 a game. Also catches the ball well, 27 on the season. And he has just crossed the 1,000-yard mark for the year with that rush. Had 252 yards against Iowa State, out-rushing Troy Davis in that game. Second and a long 6 for the Wildcats. Lawrence again. Good defensive pursuit on the corner. Bloomfield made the tackle. Number 91, the senior from Taylorsville, Utah. No gain on the play. Well, now they've given him a body yard with the placement of the ball, so it'll be 3rd down and about 5. Chris Canty has come in offensively now. Number 2, their All-American cornerback who sees some offensive plays. 4 wideouts on 3rd down. Three wide receivers to the right, including Canty. From the shotgun, Kavanaugh goes to the weak side, and he overthrows the receiver, but there'll be a flag probably against Ben Cook. Anderson, the intended receiver, number 25. Cook got a hand on him.
You knew that Kansas State would bring Canty in to play wide receiver.
Well, again, Courtney Mazzei's microphone not working, but it is an interference call, and Ben Cook, the culprit, covering Andre Anderson, the junior from West Palm Beach, Florida.
They came in 3 wide receivers to the right, 1 wide receiver on the other side, and that was Kevin Lockett. They're leaving him alone on the other side. BYU backed out of the play that they had called. They were a little bit worried about having 4 wide receivers on the field, and Kavanaugh got a little time and found a guy that was open and got the interference call. Big play for Kansas State.
Turns into a 15-yard gain under the call of drills. A 1st down at the 48-yard line of the Wildcats. Still no score opening period. Kansas State with the ball. 2 wide receivers to the right this time. Lone setback is Lawrence. He goes into the pattern. Kavanaugh up the middle, picked off. Tim McTire takes it down to the 35-yard line of Kansas State. Perfect read on the ball by McTire, returning it 20 yards.
McTire had single coverage up at the top on Lockett. Lockett came across the field on a crossing pattern, and Lockett gave him up, hung around the middle of the field, and stepped right in front of the tight end, and that time it took it up the field. We talked a lot about Canty, but that guy right there, McTire, is a pretty good cover guy himself for Brigham Young University.
His 4th interception of the year, the all-WAC cornerback Tim McTire. So the first turnover of the game has BYU 1st down at the 36-yard line of Kansas State. Sacked out at the 41 by Jerome Evans. First of the day by either team.
Kansas State rushed 4 guys. Their 4 interior linemen dropped 7 back in coverage and gave Sarkisian a different look. That's what they want to do. They want to confuse him with a couple different looks. That time they played zone defense, and they won't do that too much with those great cover guys. They want to play man-to-man as much as possible.
So it is second down, 15, the ball at the 41 now, Kansas State. In motion, the tight end, Lewis. Sarkisian, deep, intended for Cale Louis, and out of bounds, incomplete. Joe Gordon had the coverage. Gordon coming off a leg injury that saw him miss 7 games. Still playing with a piece of titanium in his leg, part of the repair to a broken leg. The senior from Arlington, Texas. Got some friends and family watching him here in Dallas.
Sure, he goes off at the metal detector at the airports every time.
Yes,
titanium inside his body. He's a Texas kid, too, from Arlington, Texas.
3rd and 15. Sarkisian sacked again, twice in this series. This time Darren Howard, the freshman, number 49 from the defensive end. 45,000 strong. The Wildcat fans love it.
They run a stunt on the inside with the 2 linemen coming around the outside. And Howard just comes in from behind the play. There's nowhere to go for Sarkisian. Again, good coverage by Kansas State.
And a hurry-up punt play by BYU. Flags everywhere as the ball comes down, rolling inside the 5 down near the goal line. And BYU with a clever play there, rushing their punt team on and catching Kansas State unaware. 50-yard punt. And the officials conferring, the ball resting at the 2-yard line of the Wildcats.
I wonder if they got caught with too many men on the field.
Well, they didn't get them all off as they were trying to get their punt return unit on. And that's the signal against Kansas State. Hopefully they'll find a way to repair the referee's microphone for the second half, if you're not hearing Courtney Mousy so far. And the options, of course, are being given to BYU. They had a perfect punt in addition to a little strategy to force a penalty. And it's declined as the ball sits at the 2-yard line. They can't improve on that.
Both teams in the early going trying to feel each other out. We knew that BYU was going to script a few plays in the beginning of the game to see what kind of defense that they went into Kansas State.
So the Wildcats start from the shadow of their goal line when we return to the Cotton Bowl in a moment.
Coors Light, the silver bullet. It's frost brewed to tap the clean taste of the Rockies.
Hey, where'd you come from?
It's the Hall of Fame, my man. You guys look bigger on TV.
When sports cream, when legs are sore, when backs ache, when muscles hurt. Wise Sports Cream, rubbing it in brings fast pain relief. No medicine-y smell. Wise Sports Cream, because it works.
When fix-it problems hit you from out of the blue, trust the folks in the red vest. They've got shelves full of products and loads of ideas to fix any fix you're in. Because Ace is a place for the helpful hardware folks.
Welcome to Park Avenue, a place of quiet power, a place of quiet confidence, a place of quiet refuge. On Park Avenue, there is no quieter place than Park Avenue. The all-new Park Avenue by Buick, the power of understatement.
the top teams in the country. Saturday, Notre Dame and Ohio State. Sunday, Penn State and Georgia. And then big-time rivals Tennessee and UConn collide, only on CBS.
More football ahead tonight, the Fiesta Bowl. Penn State and Texas. A lot of interest here in the Lone Star State, of course. James Brown, the outstanding quarterback of Texas, taking on Penn State's Nittany Lions. 8 o'clock Eastern tonight here on CBS. Well, it was a third and 21, and fourth and 21, pardon me, when they punted, and so that 15-yard penalty wasn't going to do them any good. So BYU declining, and now we'll try to hold the Wildcats deep in their own zone here as Lawrence gets about a yard in a double tight formation. Goes Didier and Justin Swift, the tight ends, in as they try to bull it out from inside their 5.
There's a guy, Kavanaugh. As we look at the average field position for both teams, Kavanaugh is a guy that has total control over this offense, maybe more so than any quarterback in college football. The play is signaled in, but he's up there and he could change it audible at any time, and he'll do a lot of that today.
Lawrence and Charles, the running backs, lined up alongside the quarterback in the shotgun, Kavanaugh, in the end zone. And he is sacked for a safety. Shea Murbrook blitzing. Shea Murbrook, number 46, blowing right up the middle.
That's a play that got the Buffalo Bills in trouble a couple weeks ago. It's going to be a shovel pass to Lawrence, but Bloomfield makes a great play, comes up and takes him out of the play, and Murbrook just comes in. Kavanaugh had nowhere to go with the ball. Watch 20. He's looking for the pitch, and the big defensive lineman just cuts him down. Kavanaugh's got nowhere to go with it. That was Darren Yancey that cut down Lawrence.
So the first points of the game come from the BYU defense. Murbrook, the senior from Norco, California, his 10th sack of the season, this one worth 2 points.
You know, this BYU defense, when you look at this team, you always talk about offense and the points and the throwing, but this is the best defense that they maybe have ever had. They've told us that they always had a good front seven, but didn't have much speed or coverage ability in the secondary. They've got that now with Omar Morgan and Tim McKyer. They can cover guys, they got speed, and they're very underrated.
That's the guy who said looks and sounds like a linebacker.
What's he doing smiling there? That's the first smile I've seen all week on that guy.
Well, he got himself 2 points and the lead in the ball game here for the Cougars.
I thought he was going to jump over the table in that interview the other day, start the game coming after one of us, Tim.
Kavanaugh, 1 of 4 passing, takes a sack, and BYU has a 2-0 lead. James Garcia will make the free kick from the 20-yard line of Kansas State, the punter. Back at the 22-yard line is James Dye and Ronnie Jenkins. Jenkins, number 16, Dye, number 6. A lot of speed here for the Cougars. And he missed it off the end of his toe, and it goes out of bounds at the 45-yard line. James Garcia just flat out missed that ball. And how about this field position?
Wow, I have never seen this before. Off a free kick with no pressure, and the ball just goes outside. His drop, the ball came down outside his right foot, and he shanked it out of bounds.
A tough break for James Garcia. He's a sophomore from Victoria, Texas.
Penalty is declined. First down.
Ball went out of bounds. BYU will take it where it went out at the 45 of Kansas State.
Watch, next time when the pressure's bearing down, he'll nail a 50-yarder. That's how it usually goes.
Well, we have a timeout on the field here at the Cotton Bowl. BYU 2, Kansas State 0.
Fade route, one to isolate Lockett near side. Reaches up, pulls it in, touchdown, Kevin.
Success. Getting there requires execution and the proper formation. At Kansas State University, that's precisely what you get. The skill and the will to succeed in the world. The proper formation of your mind and character, as well as the right formation for the playing field. That's Kansas State University.
Larry Hagman returns to CBS in a powerful new dramatic series.
You wouldn't be offering my colleague a bribe now, would you?
In a city filled with secrets, there's one man who has all the answers. I know, and you know, you're guilty as hell.
Totally unorthodox.
Oh, my.
Highly respected. He controls Orleans.
A family is a very precious and fragile thing, and you destroyed it.
Where things are done a little differently.
And I'm going to take you down.
Orleans, CBS next Wednesday.
Pat O'Brien in New York. Alabama has won the Outback Bowl. Here, Sean Alexander gives Bama a 17-6 lead on a 46-yard run. The Crimson Tide go on to win 17-14 over Michigan. Also today, Tennessee and Northwestern in the Citrus Bowl, 21-7 in the second quarter. Let's go back to the Ryan Express. Tim Ryan.
We are back. Let's go down to the sidelines to Steve Davis.
Yeah, Tim, on this Kansas State sideline, the defensive coaches are really trying to emphasize to continue to really man up on those outside receivers and force the quarterback to go deep. They don't think that he can do that all that well, so they're really trying to force him to go more deep and also take it to them more physically. Be physical against BYU. Tim?
All right, Steve. Well, Sarkisian is 3 of 5 for only 32 yards. And it is well known that he's not a great long passer, but the thing is, he throws it where it needs to be thrown. And so far, it's been reasonably effective. And they have the ball at the 45-yard line. Mark Atuwaya in the ball game for the first time, the senior from Hawaii, along with Dustin Johnson. Chad Lewis, the tight end, in motion back to the ball. The give is to Dustin Johnson, and Johnson gets to the 30-yard line. Johnson, the junior from Eagar, Arizona. Chris Canty pushed him out.
Matt Cox that time, Tim, number 76, got a great block to free the running back right there. You can see it. And then upfield, 22, Mark Atuwaya, who just had a baby today, makes another block, springing Dustin Johnson.
Well, let's give his wife a little bit of the credit. Elizabeth gave birth to a girl yesterday, Anessa, 9:03 p.m. on New Year's Eve last night. Congratulations to the Atuwayas. First down, BYU. Again, it's Johnson, Dustin Johnson, and he blasts straight ahead inside the 25. Deshaun Fogel, middle linebacker number 8, made the stop. Mark Atuwaya was on the telephone last night, and evidently encouraging his wife and helping her along during the New Year's Eve birth. Mom and daughter are doing fine at Provo Medical Facility. Congratulations to Liz and Mark.
Said he was doing a little coaching on that telephone himself, Tim.
Second down, long 4, almost 5 yards to go. This is Ronnie Jenkins, and Jenkins spins off one tackle, turns it into a gain of about 3. Travis Oakes, the linebacker, and Thad Swayzer, defensive end number 45, on the tackle. And Evans looks like he's hurt his arm or shoulder, the right tackle number 98. Evans taking himself out of the lineup.
Jenkins this time carries the ball. He was the WAC freshman of the year. Evans gets hurt right there. He just drives his shoulder into the ground. But Jenkins is a guy that can get upfield. We'll see a lot of him today, Tim.
Damian McIntosh, a freshman, into the lineup for the injured Evans. Sarkisian, good coverage downfield. Now he goes to Kealului, and it's just thrown out of bounds off the fingertips. Mark Simoneau had the pressure on Sarkisian, and Chris Canty had the coverage on Kealului.
Not only Chris Canty, that entire defensive backfield for the Wildcats just smothered the BYU receivers. They had a lot of confidence that they could do that, and then what they were going to do with the front 7 is to pressure and get to the quarterback, and they're doing a pretty good job of that so far today.
That'll be a 39-yard attempt for Potchman. Ethan Potchman from 39 yards out, and he nails that one cleanly. BYU has a 5-0 lead. 1:50 remaining in the first quarter here in Dallas. BYU fans celebrating 5-0 lead. And a chance to remind you that in the courtroom or on the killing fields, the nation's best defense is a pair of criminal prosecutors. David James Elliott as Commander Harmon Rapp. Don't miss the season premiere of JAG this Friday night at 9 Eastern, 8 Central.
It's a good-looking uniform, those whites, aren't they? Those navy whites, Tim.
I was waiting for you to jump all over that. Our own naval star.
Judge Advocate General, the legal department of the Navy.
I was surprised that Coach Lavelle Edwards even said hello to you. He can remember when Navy beat BYU in the very first ever Holiday Bowl back in 1978. You turned in an 80-yarder against him, didn't you?
Well, it was a lot of fun. It was a long time ago, but he remembered. What a wonderful guy, laid back. This system has been in place for so long. Everybody has a firm grasp of what they're trying to do, coaches, players, and he just lets them have fun. He's a wonderful guy to be around.
Bachman will kick it off, having connected on a 39-yard field goal. Give BYU a 5-0 lead here in the first period, 1:50 to play. And another big blast from Bachman through the end zone. Wow. No chance for a return, and Kansas State will start from their 20. 23 yards in 5 plays. Setting up the field goal. Let's go down to Steve Davis on the sideline.
You guys want to know how competitive these guys are. Jerome Evans, who came out, literally the trainers had to take away his helmet. He did not want to be checked out. They're now talking to him, trying to make sure that he's okay. He looks like he's going to come back, but he did not want to come out of that football game.
Jerome Evans, the junior from Waco, Texas. He's got friends and family here, no doubt, watching him today. Transfer from junior college, Hutchinson Community College. First down. Kavanaugh wanted to go deep, and he is dropped. Muirbrook, his second sack. He has one for a safety and picks up number 2.
He had nowhere to go that time. Kevin Lockett was doubled by Lane Hale and Omar Morgan, and Andre Anderson on the other side. Check that, Jimmy Dean was smothered by Tim McKyer. Nowhere to go with the football, and Muirbrook again gets in with a sack. Muirbrook had 9 during the season. WAC Defensive Player of the Year right there.
So Kansas State set back to their 15-yard line. 2nd and 15. Play action fake. Kavanaugh intended for Dean and nearly picked off on the deflection. Ellison tipped it, and Lane Hale almost came up with a catch.
Right now, BYU is getting decent push with their front 4, allowing 7 guys to get back into coverage. 3 guys up at the top, good coverage, but what you don't see again is down at the bottom, Lockett getting double covered as number 25, Lane Hale, almost comes up with an interception.
Kavanaugh now 1 for 5 and just 17 yards here in this first period. Already 1 interception. That by McTire. Four wide receivers in the lineup now. 3 of them to the right for Kansas State from the shotgun. Kavanaugh again in trouble. Trying to find an open man. Can't do it. Coverage is good downfield. Lockett, the intended receiver. They have not been able to get the ball to him.
Well, BYU's trying to show these Wildcats that they, too, can play defense. We heard a lot about that Kansas State defense and the great BYU offense. But right now, Bill Snyder's got to be a little concerned. His quarterback is 1 for 6 and can't find anybody open in that secondary.
And he's been looking at pressure, including a pair of sacks from Muirbrook. Punting situation for the Wildcats. That is Dye standing at the 45-yard line of BYU. Kansas State will have to take a timeout. With 49 seconds left here in the first quarter, it is 5-0 BYU.
Ever heard the words, "No man is an island"? That means your actions affect other people. If you use drugs, you don't just bring yourself down. You bring down your family, your friends, your team. What a shame.
If you or someone you know needs help or information concerning drug abuse, call this toll-free number, 1-800-662-HELP. This message provided by the NCAA.
The most compelling action is on CBS Sports.
Back at the Cotton Bowl with BYU leading 5-0 on the last play. Both linebackers blitzed. Kavanaugh had nowhere to go with the football. We have coverage down at the bottom, 4-on-3. He's got nowhere to go with the ball. Good pressure, flushed out of the pocket, and 56, Ed Kell, chases him down as he throws an incompletion.
Omar Morgan and Tim McTire continue to do a good job on the corners defensively against the pass attack of Kansas State. And Kavanaugh, as you saw graphically there from Phil McConkey, no targets open. Garcia standing at the goal line of Kansas State on this 4th down and 15. Wildcats had to take a timeout on this punt play. He gets that one. Good kick. Backing up Dye to the 35-yard line. Dye hit hard, holds the ball, takes another shot, but gets to the 48-yard line. A 50-yard punt, but a 14-yard return.
As we said, when he got pressure on him, he'd kick a 50-yarder. With no pressure, he shanked it out of bounds. But that guy, number 6, James Dye, he is ever so dangerous. Playing with a knee brace on his left leg, but it doesn't seem to have affected his speed at all. 2 outside guys were taken out by the blockers, and he just splits them, heads up the field. You've got to watch out when he gets the football. Fogel misses the tackle right there, and he takes a good shot, but as you said, hung on to the football.
Denmark in at the left corner for Kansas State. The pass out the right side to Dustin Johnson. Good coverage by Clyde Johnson coming up from the safety spot. Very little, if any, gain on the play. Clyde Johnson, the senior from Austin, Texas. He actually came to Manhattan in 1988. Then went into the Marines for 6 years. He's now 26 years of age. Came back to K-State in 1994. And one of their very consistent members of that outstanding secondary, 93 tackles on the year, 2 interceptions. And we have reached the end of the first quarter with the score. The Cougars of BYU 5 and Kansas State Wildcats nothing. Will return to the Southwestern Bell Cotton Bowl Classic after this message and a word from your local station.
Welcome to Park Avenue, the ultimate urban environment. So quiet, it shuts out urban unpleasantness. So beautiful, it improves even the most elegant street in America, which incidentally seems to have been named after our new car. The all-new Park Avenue by Buick. The power of understatement.
CBS, welcome home.
This is it. Your Northeast Ohio Ford dealer's leadership sales drive is in its final days. Time is running out to save big on everything in stock. Like Northeast Ohio's best-selling Ford Taurus for $248 a month for 24 months. Or Northeast Ohio's best-selling full-size pickup Ford F-150 for $258 a month. That's $248 for Taurus or $258 for F-150. The biggest clearance of the year is in its final days. Don't wait. The leadership sales drive is going fast. See your Northeast Ohio Ford dealer, home of 7 of the 10 bestsellers again.
Join Bally Total Fitness now and pay no money to start. Plus, last chance to get last year's rates. All the classes, all the equipment. Just call 1-800-WORKOUT and pay absolutely no money to start. Join Bally Total Fitness now. Time is running out. Do it now.
From all of us at CBS 19.
Happy New Year!
We are back at the Cotton Bowl, about to begin the second quarter. BYU leading Kansas State 5-0 on a safety. Shane Muirbrook knocking down the quarterback Kavanaugh in the end zone, and then Ethan Potchman a 39-yard field goal on first down. Sarkisian to James Dye. Dye gets down to the 46-yard line. And Phil McConkey, just going back to the beginning of this game, BYU wins the toss. They elect to kick off. Certainly sent a message.
Yeah, they were saying Kansas State, they think they're more physical, that they can knock BYU around. Well, BYU says, hey, our defense is just as tough, we're just as physical, and we're going to show you. Come out, kick off the ball, start on defense, and they're controlling the tempo right now. They've had great field position in the first quarter, and they're continuing to do so right now.
Kansas State's average start in the first period from their own 18-yard line. BYU, on the other hand, great field position. Their average from their own 47-yard line. And here they are in K-State territory, 3rd and 3. Sarkisian starts to run with it, passes off to Jenkins, and Jenkins has a first down. This brilliant freshman from California, Smith and Johnson make the tackle on him. Ronnie Jenkins, he ran for 619 yards in one game in high school in Ventura. 7 touchdowns he scored in that game. 5'11", 170-pounder. He is brilliant.
They just rushed 4 guys that time, but Niall Wyron gets good pressure. He's the leader on sacks for that Wildcat team. But this guy, they say he's a great practice player for a freshman. They don't understand how this guy got to get into such good practice habits, but he's got them.
Derek King has come in at linebacker. Damian McIntosh along the defensive front, number 77. He came in to replace Jerome Evans when Evans left with an apparent shoulder injury. And they're having a little chain problem over there, unwinding the coach's headset got tangled up there in the chains. That's been the kind of a start it's been for K-State here so far. First down, BYU at the 32 of the Wildcats. Kayla Louie in motion, comes wide to the right, inside handoff. Dustin Johnson. Good reaction by the Wildcats there. Not much, if any, gain.
Well, we see Jerome Evans is back in the game. He must have found his helmet right there. They just run a draw play this time to Dustin Johnson. 4-man rush. The linebackers hanging off the line of scrimmage, and you see Evans gets in on the plate, does not make the tackle, but good pursuit. Fogel, their big run stopper, stops Dustin that time for about a yard gain. Shoulder must have popped right back into place right there.
Ben Cahoon comes in at wide receiver for BYU, and a little confusion on this play call, so they take a timeout. We'll return to the Cotton Bowl in a moment.
January 2nd, 1970. In reviewing Texas' down-to-the-deadline victory over Notre Dame, one should be careful not to blow one's composure. Sure, there was LBJ in the dressing room and Richard Nixon on the telephone, but it wasn't as though the game had everything. I mean, where the hell was Harry Truman? And how come not even a postcard from the Pope? Having established that the New Year's Day triumph will not alter the course of civilization, we can concede that it was one dazzling show. Mickey Herskowitz, Houston Post.
January 2nd, 1937. Shot down by Sammy the Sniper Baugh in a hectic, action-filled first half that produced all of the scoring. Marquette University's Golden Avalanche was battered and bombed to a 16-6 defeat by the Texas Christian University Horned Frogs Friday afternoon. In the inaugural of what doubtless will be an annual Cotton Bowl Gridiron Classic here. George White, Dallas Morning News.
What'll they write next? We can't wait to find out.
Arm yourself with a new kind of deodorant protection. Arm & Hammer deodorant, the only one that absorbs and then eliminates odor with baking soda. This man used Arm & Hammer under his left arm and deodorant without baking soda under his right. After a full day's work, odor detectors showed Arm & Hammer eliminated odor, while the side without baking soda simply covered it up. That's why we're confident it's a better kind of protection. So arm yourself with new Arm & Hammer deodorant, a better kind of deodorant protection.
The difference between children and parents is that children are the ones without a care in the world. Keeping them carefree and protected is the reason you get life insurance for yourself. With State Farm, you'll get a life insurance company that has always received the highest possible ratings for financial strength. And that can help you be sure that your kids will get to be kids for just as long as they please. State Farm understands life.
They look like cops and they talk like cops, but they're not cops. They're bounty hunters. And if you're on the lam, they're the last guys in the world you want to see. 60 Minutes, Sunday.
12:57 remaining in the first half. BYU leads 5-0 over Kansas State. They had to take a timeout. A little confusion on the last play call.
Yeah, Steve Sarkisian right there getting the play in late. Really frustrated, not at his teammate, but at the coaches for not getting it in.
Cahoon had the reserve wide receiver had just run onto the field and looked like Sarkisian already had a play ready to go. He is 6 of 9 for 52 yards. It is 2nd and 9 from the 31-yard line of Kansas State. Louis in motion behind the ball. Now they bring the fake back to him, and Sarkisian is sacked. The Wildcats played that perfectly. Andrew Timmons, the senior from Brooksville, Florida, and Mark Simino, the freshman linebacker, combined to nail Sarkisian.
Simino had 111 tackles this season. He was the Big 12 Freshman Player of the Year. Very active. He's strong, he's quick and fast. And if they had run that reverse, that time David Conley, linebacker number 5, was sitting waiting for it. Good play defensively for the Wildcat team.
Conley, the reserve linebacker, comes in their nickel package. He's not a big linebacker, the sophomore, 6'2", 200 pounds, so they really use him as kind of a rover. And he goes off now. 3rd and long, 3rd and 16 from the shotgun. Sarkisian, and a quick timing pass intended out the left side, but incomplete, a little bit off the mark. Trying to get it to Jared Kennedy, number 82.
Tough for that guy coming off the bench, running a post pattern on 3rd and 15 against maybe one of the best cover guys in college football, Chris Canty.
So that brings up 4th down, punting situation for BYU. Alan Boardman into punt, standing at the 47-yard line of the Cougars. High arching punt. Yard deep into the end zone will be a touchback. 11:57 remaining in the first half. Kansas State trying to untrack their offense. They've been unable to do so far. They'll start from their 20. And we have a timeout here at the Cotton Bowl Classic. BYU leads 5-0.
Welcome to Park Avenue, a place of quiet power, a place of quiet confidence, a place of quiet refuge. On Park Avenue, there is no quieter place than Park Avenue. The all-new Park Avenue by Buick. The power of understatement.
What's with young players these days? Take Kevin Garnett.
I was out of my league.
I gotta help this guy. He was shaving with a foam. My word. Hey, Head Shave Gel has 6 lubricants, so it protects better than foam.
Nobody told me.
No. Front to back. Front to back.
Edge Shave Gel. Save your skin.
I think it changed his life.
Coors Light, the silver bullet. It's frost brewed to tap the clean taste of the Rockies.
Hey, where'd you come from?
It's the Hall of Fame, my man. You guys look bigger on TV.
Well, that says it very graphically. BYU with 77 yards to only 29 for K-State. And, of course, a turnover by KU was a costly one, but look at that. Kevin Lockett yet to catch a pass. He's their main guy, 72 catches coming into the game. Kavanaugh's 1 for 6 and only 17 yards. And thus a 5-0 BYU lead on a safety and a field goal. And you can see they have not had good field position, and they have not done anything with it when they've had the ball on offense. Lawrence out to the 20 to the 30-yard line. Brad Martin, the linebacker, and Lane Hale, the safety, stop him there, and he'll be just short of a first down, a gain of 9.
Jerry Martin, number 78, the guard that time, had a pancake block, took the defender right down, drove him into the ground, and that was the key to that run.
Sellout crowd of the Cotton Bowl, 45,000 fans from the state of Kansas. Lawrence again has the first down. Ball came loose, but smothered by the Wildcats. And Ellison making the tackle, number 4, Chris Ellison. Lawrence recovering the loose ball. He was the ball carrier. Here he is trying to get that first down. Over the line into first down territory, and the ball came loose.
He got it back.
Right back to him.
First down from the 31.
Cats have turned it over once, an interception by McTire. But they have a first down at their 31-yard line. Slot formation to the right. Kavanaugh sprinting to the right. Finally connects with Kevin Lockett for a gain of about 4. The senior from Tulsa, Oklahoma, makes his first catch. That's 44 consecutive games he's had at least one reception in his brilliant career. Kansas State, Morgan made the tackle.
He's an accounting major, and he said if it doesn't go well in the NFL or if he plays when he's done, he wants to be an accountant for a Big Six firm and then maybe start his own business.
He's already working on his master's in business. Very bright young guy and a fine football player, hoping to be drafted in the NFL. Probably will be. Lawrence digs for about 3 more. Now Kansas State finds itself in a critical situation here in terms of the first half. They've got a third down. They need about 3. They're trailing 5-0. 10 minutes to go in the half. They've been unable to keep the ball moving on offense. Let's see what Bill Snyder can come up with here. Ryan Kavanaugh, the quarterback. Third down and 3 from the 38-yard line. It's statement time again for the BYU defense. Lawrence and Goolsby, the running backs. Kavanaugh to the sideline. Lockett made the catch as he inbounds. Yes, first down, Wildcats to the 45-yard line.
Whenever he gets into trouble, Brian Kavanaugh, or he needs a play to be made, he goes to number 83. He said, I like Kevin Lockett, and that's the reason why. Look at that beautiful catch. His toe drags the sideline. It's questionable from this vantage point whether or not he got that 1 foot in bounds. Omar Morgan has pretty good coverage and a good pass. The officials got a better view than we do.
On first down, Lawrence. It's about 5 yards. The junior from Carroll City, Florida. So the Wildcats out to midfield. Trailing 5-0 here in the first half. Tim Ryan, Phil McConkey, Steve Davis. Sun has broken through. We have blue skies here. The fog finally dissipating. And it has been warm since the kickoff. Skies brightening as the day has gone on. Kavanaugh now 3 of 8 passing for 28 yards. 2nd and 5. Lawrence again tripped up right at the line of scrimmage by Henry Bloomfield, number 91. Senior who had 69 tackles coming into the game, leading the down lineman defensively.
You know what his biggest pet peeve is? He hates slow drivers in the passing lane. He says he just can't stand it. It drives him crazy.
Well, if that's his only pet peeve, he's a relatively happy man.
Well, I've got to agree with him on that point anyway. He is a happy guy. He's happy to be playing in the Cotton Bowl today.
6'2", 295-pounder from Taylorsville, Utah, near Salt Lake. Third down and a long 4, and Kavanaugh changing it up again. Slot formation left. Fullback Goolsby shifts a step. Kavanaugh going his direction, takes it upfield and has the first down. Brian Kavanaugh. Well, there was a good call by the quarterback, and he delivered the goods himself.
Well, we said earlier, he's got total control of this offense. The play gets signaled in, and he changed it up there. He saw something he liked, ran the option. The last time they ran that option, they were not successful, but he snapped the ball to him with 1 second left on the clock. And And they'll do that almost every time. In fact, this game, maybe it's an advantage for them because they want to keep BYU's offense off the field. That's one way to do it, eat up the clock.
Bill Snyder says at home sometimes the fans there will count down for them. 4, 3, 2, 1. They got enough to do that here. Lawrence, not much there. A diving tackle by Shea Muirbrook. The all-WAC Defensive Player of the Year. Another fine play by that middle linebacker.
Yeah, he's a mean one. He's got stuff drooling off his face mask there. He shoots up like he was coming out of a cannon, and he has just got an eye for the ball. Got all kind of stuff in grass in his helmet. 10 quarterback sacks this season to lead this team, and he is a very active player.
6 foot, 240-pounder from Norco, California. He's got the sack that created the safety. 10th play of this drive from Kansas State. Under the 44-yard line of BYU, but this time Lawrence is buried. Good pressure on the left side of the defense of BYU. Spencer Reed, the linebacker, number 41. The junior from American Samoa made the play.
Yeah, out of the shotgun, they like to pull their center in tackle a lot. Kansas State does. Very unusual to pull your center, but BYU's main goal defensively was to stop the run. They've done a pretty good job, but this drive right now, Kansas State's starting to wear on them just a little bit.
3rd and 13, another one of those little big plays for the Wildcats. 48-yard line of BYU, rolling to his left, Kavanaugh. Eludes one rusher, and the pass is broken up. Tim McTire going up high over Kevin Lockett. Broke up the play, and it's 4th down.
Boy, like clockwork, whenever they need a play, Kavanaugh always looks to 83 Lockett, and McTire, who's a great cornerback in his own right, comes back to break up the play. But you can almost count on them going to 83 anytime they need to convert.
James Dye back to receive the punt from James Garcia. Garcia standing at his own 38. Dye at the 10-yard line of BYU. Good kick from Garcia. Gets at the 6 and is down brilliantly. Lockett. What a play by Kevin Lockett. Well spotted at the 1-yard line. 46-yard punt.
Lockett makes a big play for his team. They need it. They need to back up BYU. Their offense has been in this position all day long. The 2 wide receivers play on the outside. Lockett and Andre Anderson just makes a great play there to keep the ball inside.
You know how 1 dog ear equals 7 human ones? Well, computers are like that compared to other machines. A 7-year-old airplane is younger than a 1-year-old server. It makes buying decisions tough. It turns systems into orphans way too soon. Computer people ought to be sensitive to that. No matter how great the new stuff is, you should work with, even optimize their old stuff. Digital does it. Everybody should.
Digital, whatever it takes.
Where does Napa keep over 200,000 different parts? Right up here. Now remember, your belt tension on this is critical. What kind of car is it? Well, I'll sell you all the struts you want, but I wouldn't recommend putting them in without the right tools. I'm sure we have it. Okay, is it a 77 or a 78? Because they changed the carburetor in 78. Actually, that's not a stupid question at all. I know what it used to be. You don't stay at Napa long handing out the wrong answers, and I'm not planning on going anywhere.
America running.
Pizza Hut employee memo number 2, the new pepperoni. You're looking at the future of Pizza Hut. No, not the kid, the pepperoni.
The new pepperoni.
And there's just never been a pepperoni like this. We've reinvented the thing. It's meatier and crispier than ever before. In fact, it's so good, we suggest you cook up a batch of it and try it yourselves. That way, when someone says, hey, is this the best pepperoni you've ever had or what? You can look them right in the eye and say, yeah. Yeah. Making it great, again and again.
Coming up on the College Football Today Halftime Report, Craig James, Coach Lou Holtz and I will update you on all the bowl action. We'll also take a look at one of the biggest plays of the season. Texas is 4th and inches. Let's get you up to date on what's going on in college football this afternoon. In the Outback Bowl, Gene Stallings wins his final game at Alabama, 17-14 over the Wolverines of Michigan. In the Citrus Bowl, Northwestern rallies After being down 21-0, it's now 28-21 in the second quarter, Tennessee leading. North Carolina and West Virginia, 17-10, the Tar Heels in the Gator Bowl. Let's go back with some confetti to Dallas.
Well, if you've been surfing, BYU's points come on a safety and a field goal. They lead Kansas State 5-0. 6:06 to go first half. Let's go down to the sidelines and Steve Davis.
Thank you, Tim. What a great part of college football is sponsors that get involved. This is Ed Whitaker, Jr., Chairman and CEO of Southwestern Bell. Did you ever imagine a ball game like this in your first year of the sponsorship?
No, I didn't. It's a great game, Steve. Great weather, great competition, sellout crowd. It's a great day.
What's this mean to Southwestern Bell?
Well, this is the 61st year for the Cotton Bowl. Southwestern Bell's been around about 100 years. Our service territory is Texas, Kansas, and Midwestern states. We're part of a tradition. We're proud to be a title sponsor of that tradition. It's great for us.
Well, you've got a great game to start off with.
Yes,
great.
we do.
Good for you. Thanks, Ed, very much. Tim?
All right, Steve. BYU will be starting from the 3-yard line. That's where Lockett got a hand on it, knocking the ball back out of the end zone. 3 wide receivers. Kayla Louie, Kennedy, and McGuire. And first down from the 3. Sarkisian, the give is to McKenzie. McKenzie is stopped after a gain of maybe a yard. Brian McKenzie, the junior from Sarasota, Florida. 950 yards rushing on the season for him coming into this game. And the middle linebacker, Deshaun Fogle, with the hit. It is a gain of a yard. Chad Lewis, the tight end, comes back in. Ronnie Jenkins comes in at running back, but he doesn't get on in time. And Jenkins has to rush off. So again, BYU with a little mix-up here, trying to change the play call late. Sarkisian's going with his. McKenzie gets another yard, and that's about all. Dimitri Denmark made the tackle. The cornerback, number 29, has been dividing the time with Joe Gordon in this first half on the left corner.
Kansas State mixed it up a little bit on BYU that time. They went to a 2 deep. The first time they showed 2 deep coverage, the defensive backs playing half of the field confused them a little bit. It was a zone coverage, and 59 Johnson, James Johnson, tried to pull that time, but wasn't able to get an effective block, and the play went for no gain.
3rd and 8. Mark Atuaya in the ball game. Sarkisian's pass. There's a flag down. Dye made the catch, but the play was whistled dead.
Dead ball. False start on the offense. At the distance to the goal. 3rd down.
Courtney Mousey's microphone is working now. The referee from the ACC. Infraction against BYU, a false start. Half the distance. It'll back it up just outside the 2-yard line. Dustin Johnson returns to the lineup. Dye comes out for BYU. Conley comes in to make a nickel package for Kansas State. 3rd down, a little more than 10 to go. Wildcats penning in BYU after that 46-yard punt by Garcia, and the good save by Lockett. Sarkisian had time, has a man. Tight end Lewis struggles for the first down and has it. Chad Lewis. Lewis with Itula Mealy giving BYU one of the best combinations and tight ends in the nation. Mealy gone with a knee injury, and Lewis the man now.
Both their tight ends were first-team all-WAC. Only 4 guys on the rush that time. Chad Lewis makes the catch and just stretches. Right there is where he got the first down. He's a big target at 6'6".
His first catch of the day. He is a CFA All-Academic All-American. And all-WAC, as you mentioned, at tight end. First down, BYU. Sarkisian again with time, but it's batted down. It looked like Timmons, number 99, may have got a hand on it. No, it was number 98, Jerome Evans. 2 big men at 6'6" and 6'3". Evans, the taller of the 2, came up with the knockdown.
Johnson on protection that time. He's looking downfield for Mark Atuaya, and Evans just gets that big paw up. He didn't have good or any push up the field, but he just stuck his hand up in the air. Works just as well.
Did that time. It leaves it 2nd and 10. BYU just inside their own 15. They lead 5-0. 3:44 to go, first half. Number 5 ranked Cougars. Number 14 Kansas State. Mark Atuwaya, the new dad. Not anywhere to run out there. Maybe a yard. Clyde Johnson and Dimitrik Denmark there to bring him down.
Number 22, Mark Atuwaya.
Trying to change up the looks and bluff Steve Sarkisian, and they did so that time. 3 linebackers in a sprinter stance. Sarkisian thought maybe they would come run the sweep to the outside, but they pulled out at the snap, and Simino made the play on the outside.
Atuwaya got a yard. It'll be 3rd down and 8. There's the total yardage. Not a lot, but BYU with the edge by 30 yards here in the first half, and they lead on the scoreboard with a safety and a field goal. Good coverage downfield. Sarkisian's going to run with it, trying to get to the marker, and he does. Depending on the spot, yes, a first down. BYU. Vogel and Clyde Johnson on the tackle. Good piece of running by the quarterback, Steve Sarkisian.
Nobody open downfield. You know, when you talk to the BYU coaches, of all the great quarterbacks they've had here, they said he doesn't have the quickness of Steve Young, the savvy of Jim McMahon, or the arm strength of Mark Wilson, but he's a combination of all those guys, and with that combination, he's very productive.
Sarkisian comes up with the first down to the 26-yard line. Motion behind the ball into the pattern. Sarkisian, and he's off the mark this time. Intended for Kayla Louie. Well, we mentioned, you mentioned 3 of the names, the great quarterback stars at QBU at BYU. Mark Wilson, Jim McMahon, Steve Young, Robbie Bosco, now the quarterback coach here at BYU. Ty Detmer, John Walsh. I mean, what a lineup. You can go all the way back to Virgil Carter in the very beginning, and Gifford Nielsen, other guys that maybe not as proficient numbers-wise as that lineup you see there, but what a tradition of outstanding quarterbacks at Brigham Young University. Sarkisian, 7 of 13, 64 yards. 3-step drop the tight end, Lewis, and Lewis tries to climb over people and did pick up 3 more yards.
You don't think that guy's athletic? It's 6'6", 250, hurdling defenders downfield to get the first down. Well, what they're trying to do, they don't think that Kansas State can cover all guys. They want to get 5 guys out in the pattern all the time. They were in a zone coverage that time. And Sarkisian, the big key for him is find the open guy. With 5 guys, someone's going to be open, and he found him that time. Watch the hurdle right there.
And it took the 305-pound Jerome Evans to finally wrestle him down. Evans made a good job of coming back off the line of scrimmage to make the tackle on the big tight end. We have a timeout taken by BYU, and we'll return in a moment.
Welcome to Park Avenue, a place of quiet power, a place of quiet confidence, a place of quiet refuge. There is no quieter place than Park Avenue. The all-new Park Avenue by Buick. The power of understatement.
If your tools are looking a little more rusty than trusty, turn to the folks in the red vest, because they've got a wide variety, including Ace brand hand tools, built tough with a lifetime warranty. That's what makes Ace the place, with a helpful hardware folks.
Want whiter teeth in just 2 weeks? Then try Arm & Hammer Extra Whitening, the baking soda formula clinically proven to whiten teeth in 2 weeks. Arm & Hammer Extra Whitening, whiter teeth in just 2 weeks.
1874, the first transatlantic cable connecting Ireland and America. It was made by Siemens. That was then. This is now. Today, phone companies and businesses use Siemens switches to send and receive voices, images, and data together for desktop video conferencing, wireless communications, and high-speed internet access. Siemens technologies keep you in touch and on top. Siemens, precision thinking.
You're born, you go to school, and then one day, things begin to get interesting. Now, instead of preparing, you're doing. The stakes are a lot higher than they were in high school. Because out here, the tests you're given are of your honor, your courage, and your commitment. This is your journey. It's time you got underway. Call 1-800-USA-NAVY. Let the journey begin.
Tonight on The Late Show, Dave tosses it around with Steve Young, Adam Sandler. This is going to be great. And musical guest Hootie and the Blowfish, only on CBS.
More football tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. We'll be at the Fiesta Bowl in Tempe, Arizona for Penn State and Texas. Stay with us all day here on CBS Sports. Lots more football ahead on this New Year's Day, 1997, and Happy New Year to you. 1:51 to go here in the second quarter. BYU leading Kansas State 5-0, and BYU has the ball at the 41-yard line. Cougars with one timeout remaining. First down. Draw play, and Kansas State, everybody coming. They bury McKenzie. Vogel leading the charge, number 8, the linebacker, the senior from Manhattan, Kansas.
Vogel comes right up the middle that time, stops McKenzie, the ball carrier. In fact, the whole Kansas State defense just swarmed. It's like they knew what that play was before the snap.
Loss of 5. Sarkisian can't find a target. He's going to get knocked down again. He's at the line of scrimmage. Darren Howard and Clyde Johnson this time. And one Wildcat slow to get up. That is Andrew Timmons. Behind the line of scrimmage at about the 27-yard line. Andrew Timmons getting some attention. Sarkisian was able to avoid Timmons and got back to the line of scrimmage, preventing a sack, but it is still 3rd and 15 with the timeout on the field. We'll be back to the Cotton Bowl in a moment. 1:09 to play first half.
When you see that 2,000% a year internet growth rate, you want to just jump in. Thing is, the internet can help you gain or lose a lot of customers very quickly. If you disappoint someone, they can tell a few friends or a few thousand. It makes it crucial to work with a computer company that has experience helping people do business on the net. Not to mention the world's fastest servers, like Digital.
Digital, whatever it takes.
Craig Lambert isn't too worried about how to invest for Zach's college education. That's because he works with a broker from Dean Witter. Together, they developed a long-term investment plan to help take Zach wherever he wants to go.
Clients feel most comfortable with our ability to see things from their perspective.
Now, when Craig looks into his son's eyes, he can see the future and smile. Dean Witter.
We measure success one investor at a time.
Blue skies over downtown Dallas, Texas. We're nearby at the Cotton Bowl, where BYU leads Kansas State 5-0. A surprising score here for the high-scoring BYU team, but nonetheless, the favorite Kansas State Wildcats yet to get on the scoreboard. At halftime, it'll be Pat O'Brien, Craig James, and Coach Lou Holtz bringing you up to date on all of today's bowl news, plus a look at Texas head coach John Makovitz's gutsy call against Nebraska in the Big 12 championship. 3rd and 15, BYU from their own 35 with 1:09 counting down now under a minute remaining first half. Sarkisian, a short drop, is sacked again. That's 5 by Kansas State, finding their way now through that offensive line of the Cougars. Darren Howard and Damian McIntosh this time.
They wanted to rush guys to keep some of the running backs inside. They didn't want 5 guys to get into the pattern. They want to disrupt Steve Sarkisian, and that's what they're doing right there. McIntosh comes in for the injured Timmons and makes the play.
So BYU will have to punt, and we have another timeout on the field. We'll be back in a moment.
They're the nation's best defense. They're known as JAG.
The United States government does not negotiate with drug lords.
The Marine Corps does not leave their own behind.
Those men lay it on the line every day. Some die.
David James Elliott is Commander Harmon Rabb.
You offering to defend me, Commander? Yes, sir.
His partner, Marine Major Sarah McKenzie.
It works better with the safety off.
New year, new network, new champions. JAG premieres CBS Friday.
41 seconds left for Kansas State to do something here. BYU will punt. Great defensive series for the Wildcats at KSU, and standing at the 11-yard line is Alan Boardman, ready to punt for BYU. Chris Canty, a dangerous return man at the 36-yard line of KSU. Boardman's punt, caught by Canty at the 37-yard line. Eludes one tackler and another and gets out to the 44-yard line. 29 seconds left. Nate Foreman made the tackle for the Cougars, a 37-yard punt, an 11-yard return. And Brian Cavanaugh, 3 of 9 and just 28 yards, will try and make something happen for the Wildcats. They're huddling on the sideline for these final plays. 29 seconds to go here in the first half. Wide to the left comes Lockett. Slot formation to the right. Anderson and Dean are the wideouts on that side. Cavanaugh complete to the tight end. Jared Gross-Didier.
Brian Cavanaugh's pass complete to number 82. Jared.
They had a guy run off the bench that time. One of the guys sitting on the bench, number 27, Gangwish, to call the timeout. Went right in front of the referee. So if I can't get on the field to play, I'll just come out and call timeouts. Any way I can get on the field for the Cotton Bowl.
That's their final timeout. 20 seconds on the clock. And the ball is spotted at the 47-yard line after the pass completion to the tight end, Jared Gross-Didier. And that's how he pronounces his name. It's G-R-O-S-D-I-D-I-E-R, and it hurts me badly with a little bit of schoolbook French to not pronounce that Gros-Didier. But it's Gross-Didier in St. Paul, Kansas, where he and his family are from.
That's been driving you crazy all week.
It has, all week long, I have to admit. 20 seconds left and a 5-0 game. Who would have figured this?
Right now, the BYU defense is the story of this game. We knew that Kansas State had a great defense, and same could be said for BYU's offense. We thought that's where the matchup would be. Right now, K-State is getting a little bit better of it defensively. But again, BYU's defense is the difference so far.
It does appear that the Wildcats defensively have been getting a little stronger, especially in this second period. See whether BYU comes up with some adjustments in the second half in order to keep their offensive going. Second down, Cavanaugh from the shotgun. Deep sideline for Lockett, incomplete. Kevin Lockett covered by Tim McTire. McTire's had close coverage on him, and that forced Cavanaugh to throw that ball a little farther in front than he perhaps wanted to. Lockett unable to get there. Third down.
Seen two of the better cornerbacks in college football today. We knew all about Chris Canty, a two-time All-American, but Tim McTire, who's all whack, McTire is just getting up there and making plays. He's all over Lockett. Let's see what happens to Lockett. Well, let's see what happens to Cavanaugh. Bloomfield gets him right up under the kisser and says, hey, we can play too. We're physical.
Third down for Cavanaugh and company. Still at their own 47-yard line. It's time. Has a man open, Lockett. Omar Morgan catches up with him, but not before Lockett has a first down at the 41-yard line of Brigham Young. 5 seconds left. First half.
He said his parents really stressed academics, and it shows in his his ability now. One time he said he got a D in music class in the 5th grade, and they held him out of a game. He said he learned from that point on never to mess around again. He's hitting the books, and he's done a great job with it.
Also gave up music after making that D, too.
Well, he makes some pretty good music out on this football field.
Yes, he does.
He's going to have an extended career, I do believe, after his college career is over.
First down at the 41-yard line, 5 seconds left. Kavanaugh with a deep drop this time and lets it fly deep to the end zone. Lockett is in there, so are a bunch of blue shirts, and it is caught in the end zone by Anderson. Touchdown! Wildcat fans finally get a chance to cheer on the final play of the half. Kavanaugh threw up the Hail Mary. Lockett and Anderson and Dean were all in the end zone. Lockett appeared to be the intended receiver. The ball bounced around and came down into the hands of Andre Anderson. The point after is good, and Kansas State with a flag down on the point after has the lead. There's a flag on the point after play. Teams heading to the locker room did not see the flag.
On the defense.
And it's against the defense. It'll count.
Nothing complicated about this. He just rolls to his left. And if you don't think he's got a pretty big arm, he throws this up about 55 yards. 3 receivers down. The object here is to tip the ball around, have some guy just not get too much into the pile. And Anderson stayed away. And look at Lockett get high up in the air. All the BYU guys converge on the ball. Nobody off to take the receivers that are trailing the play. Wonderful catch by Anderson as he falls to the ground. Another look at it here. I thought it hit the ground, but he made a great play.
And off the hands of Omar Morgan into the hands of Andre Anderson of K-State. And Kavanaugh, the happiest guy on the field at this moment, joining 45,000 KSU fans in the stands, and they take the lead on the final play of the half. Let's go down to Steve Davis.
Wow, what a last play, Coach. What's your feeling?
Well, it just takes the heart right out of you. That was unfortunate because we've been playing so well defensively, but, you know, those things happen, and our inability to score and get more points on the board when we had great opportunities has been a real problem for us, but we're playing very well defensively.
Coach, specifically, what changes do you see you've got to make offensively to move the ball?
We got to pass protect. I mean, they're getting to us with 4-man rush, with you know, no more than maybe 5 at times, but they're getting to us, you know, too much that way, and that's what we've got to get taken care of this next half.
Well, look, Coach, it looks like they're calling you back. They're going to call you back on the field. You're going to play one more play. Let's go back up, Tim.
Well, all right, Steve, yes, you can see the referee, Courtney Mousy of the ACC, bringing them back on. We had seen the penalty signaled against BYU and heard him say defense, declined by KSU, of course, as the point after kick was good. But now we'll have to wait and see what the referee, Courtney Mousy, has to say here. The flags came on the point after play. Perhaps there were 2 infractions.
Something's got to be offset here. For them to come back out on the field, you've got to think it's got to be against KSU.
Well, KSU, if they declined the penalty, could go for 2 points here. And maybe that's what Bill Snyder rethought. His team had left the field. They didn't see the flag down. So KSU can come back out here and go for a 2-point play since that penalty was against BYU, although they did signal that they had declined it. Once they've declined, one would think that's that.
That's it. Take it to the barn.
Well, the way this game has been played in the first half, with a safety, a field goal, and a Hail Mary touchdown, every point is clearly a valuable one here. But should they get a second try, having declined the penalty, we'll need some clarification from referee Courtney Mousy. So does Lavelle Edwards want it. Well, this is an unusual scene. What a short halftime. The players were in the locker rooms.
I'll tell you, BYU doesn't want to come back on the field after that Hail Mary pass. They just want to put it behind him, get into the locker room, get settled, make their adjustments for the second half.
They don't want to give up a two-point conversion either, but if that's what's going to occur, we're not sure yet.
The teams are being brought back apparently for the reason that K-State is going to accept the penalty and possibly attempt a two-point conversion.
Well, the public address announcer has just made the same explanation we did, but he's also not sure whether or not K-State intends to do that and whether they can do so after having declined at least from the sign.
Offsides on the extra point. Penalty is accepted. Half the distance to the goal. We'll replay the try.
I don't understand how we had a call where they declined it originally and then come back and reverse the call.
Unless the referee did not actually ask K-State if they were declining and simply waved it off with the zeros up and assumed that he didn't give them the option, we're now told, and Bill Snyder or someone on his staff said we should have had the option. He did make the signal declined, and the team's headed to the locker room. So now they're going for two. So it is 6-5. Kavanaugh pitches to Lawrence. Lawrence into the end zone for 2 points. Mike Lawrence diving into the end zone, and now a field goal differential instead of 2 points.
Spencer Reed, 41, levels Kavanaugh right there, and he has the ability to get the ball off to Lawrence, and he hurdles into the end zone for the 2 points. Watch Kavanaugh here. He's just going to get leveled by Reed. Boom. What a good block by Goolsby out on the outside on Chris Ellison.
And Muirbrook put a good lick on Lawrence, but Lawrence's momentum carried him into the end zone, and they lead by 3, 8-6 over Brigham Young at halftime in the Cotton Bowl. Pat O'Brien, Craig James, and Lou Holtz will come along next with College Football Today after this message and a word from your local station.
CBS Sports presentation of the Southwestern Bell Cotton Bowl Classic is sponsored by your friends and neighbors at Southwestern Bell. Here's to classics to come. Edge Shave Gel, save your skin. And by the all-new Park Avenue by Buick, the power of understatement. The most compelling action is on CBS Sports. The world's hottest skaters light up Las Vegas. You'll flip when you see these high rollers burning up the strip. The heat is on, but it's never too hot to skate. Saturday night on CBS.
CBS. Welcome home.
Mary Lou, Shayla, smile.
With all the care you put into taking those pictures, bring your film somewhere that'll put as much care into developing them. Your Revco drugstore. We offer premium film processing. You'll get your pictures back the next day, or they're free. You'll get the sharpest, brightest photos and index prints. Organize all your photo memories. Daddy! Revco, a friend for life. What? You haven't heard the news?
Announcing family values, Mercury Style. Just one low lease price of $249 a month for the one-of-a-kind Mercury Sable Wagon or the Mercury Villager, the minivan that drives like a car. With a manageable payment of only $249 on the Sable Wagon or the Villager, you can afford the comfort, the convenience, and flexibility that every family values.
It's a great time to see your Lincoln Mercury dealer.
Imagine yourself in a Mercury now.
When is heartburn worst for you?
After a tough day.
After a spicy meal.
Or at bedtime, whenever it is. Your worst heartburn calls for Zantac 75.
Zantac 75 relieves even your toughest heartburn. And it's so safe, it has no drug interaction warnings. In fact, doctors have prescribed the medicine in Zantac 75 more than all other acid reducers. The smart choice for your worst heartburn. Zantac 75, the final word in heartburn relief.
From all of us at CBS 19.
Happy New Year! Welcome to the College Football Today Halftime Report.
And welcome to the College Football Today Halftime Report. Kansas State leads BYU 8-5. How quickly fortunes can change. And hi again, everybody. I'm Pat O'Brien, along with Craig James and the coach, Lou Holtz. Happy New Year to all of you and to both of you again. Boy, they do change quickly in this game of football, don't they, with a Hail Mary?
Well, the Hail Mary, you see the quarterback drop back and then rolled out to get the protection, lays the ball up, receivers go down there, and you just hope for a prayer from heaven, and that's exactly what happened.
And the Kansas State receivers, they're around the ball. You got three guys down there. You're taught as a receiver, get down around it in case it's tipped up and you have a chance to make a play for it. Good job, coach.
Well, the defensive players were there also. You just got to be lucky. It's like winning the lottery.
They were bunched up like a hand grenade blowing all of them.
It's a good thing that one of us on this set said it'd be a low-scoring game. You had your crystal ball out there before the game.
Well, I can't see. That's why I wear glasses. I'm just lucky. But the reason I thought it'd be a low-scoring game against Texas Tech, against Colorado, Nebraska, Texas A&M, Kansas State offense average, I might emphasize, 165 yards a game in those 4 games. So that told me they're going to have a difficult time putting a lot of points on the board. They did put a couple up, though, for BYU's offense.
But I thought the defensive lines wouldn't be as strong in this football game. And I thought there'd be some points. I still think there'll be points in the second half. BYU will adjust and make some plays, but I didn't think the defensive lines would control the game as they have.
Coach, you thought BYU's first play was a telling play.
One of the things we said that Kansas State had to do was eliminate the run after the catch. And here on the first play of the game, the quarterback's going to drop back 2 yards, going to throw the pass 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage, going to run a couple wide receivers off. They're just going to dump the ball. I mean, it's a pass that even I could throw, and I don't have a very, very strong arm. He catches the ball. He picks up 19 yards on this after just catching a pass that maybe traveled 2 yards in the air. But statistically and effectively, it's like dropping back, throwing a 21-yard pass downfield.
You look at Steve Sarkisian. He's showing a lot of presence today, isn't he?
He better show presence because that defensive line's been in his hip pocket on this thing, but he's got a chance to go out and create opportunities. He's a smart player. Lavelle Edwards says a guy knows how to perform when he's under pressure, and he's shown that as well. He drops back in the pocket, and you're going to see it looks like it's a pretty good pocket for him. It's well formed, but he's going to get pressure backside. He wants to take off, and when he takes off, this is where presence of mind takes place. It's not the system. This is Steve Sarkisian's. Linebackers coming up, they're going to slobber knock him in the mouth. He dumps the ball off, lets his running back do something with it. This is just like Coach Holtz is talking about. That ball was caught at the line of scrimmage, and the guy runs 10, 12 yards and picks up a gain. You've got to have presence in the mind in the pocket, and the receivers have to be watching Steve Sarkisian, too, to make sure he doesn't dump it to him.
You saw also why BYU's a good pass offense. You see the receivers come back and block, and you don't teach that. That's just something inside.
Talk about quarterback presence this afternoon. Peyton Manning's having a big day for Tennessee. 3 touchdown passes, 1 TD run, 31-21 at the half over Northwestern. In the Gator Bowl, North Carolina and West Virginia, 20-10 in the fourth quarter, 13-20 left on the clock there. And Alabama fans got to feel happy for Gene Stallings. Wins his final game in the Outback Bowl. And Michigan on top 6-3 and driving, but watch Alabama.
Yeah, hey, Kevin Sigler comes up, and bottom of your screen, pressure on Brian Greasy. Dwayne Rudd picks it off, runs 88 yards for a touchdown. And how many times have we said it? Alabama's defense, coach puts them in the game.
It's only appropriate that Gene Stallings should win his last game on that. But then again, to all the Michigan fans saying, you don't throw the ball enough, that would answer it.
Sean Alexander on the draw play, cuts left, turns it on, goes 46 yards for the touchdown and put the Tide up on top 17-6 and didn't look back.
This is a redshirt freshman that rushed for 291 yards against LSU. No surprise. Next year, defense will be good, and Sean Alexander will show up on offense.
Gene Stallings goes out a winner at Alabama. Later, we'll take a look at a play which is sure to become a legend, Texas's 4th and inches. But next, we'll have reports from the Rose and Fiesta Bowls as you listen to the Kansas State University Wildcat Marching Band. We'll be back.
Wrangler jeans have always been worn by cowboys. But nowadays, even horses wear them. Wrangler, real, comfortable jeans.
Perhaps the only thing more comfortable than a pair of Wrangler jeans is a warm pair of Wrangler jeans. Wrangler, real, comfortable jeans.
Jesse. Jesse, you're next.
I'm all yours.
Save it for the stage, Romeo.
Carol always gives it to me straight. Like when she told me about my...
I told him about Head & Shoulders. Regular shampoos just rinse flakes away so they could come back. Head & Shoulders helps prevent flakes from even forming. You see the difference? You look great.
Thanks, but will it get me this part?
Couldn't hurt.
Head & Shoulders, because great hair can't have flakes.
Hey, break a leg.
Welcome back to the College Football Today Halftime Report. I'm Pat O'Brien. Coming up at 8 o'clock Eastern, we kick off our coverage of the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl between number 7 Penn State and 20th-ranked Texas. For more on that game, here's Michelle Tafoya down in Arizona.
Atmosphere here on Mill Avenue in Tempe, Arizona, in anticipation of tonight's Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. But there will be even more activity and excitement inside Sun Devil Stadium tonight as Penn State, a perfect 5-0 in the Fiesta Bowl, takes on the Texas Longhorns, who are on a roll. Quarterback James Brown leads a high-powered offense that has averaged over 500 yards over their last 8 games. If Brown is the heart and soul of the Longhorns, running back Ricky Williams is their Little Pearl, or Little Earl, as he's nicknamed, and the comparisons to Texas great Earl Campbell are uncanny. Through 24 career games, Williams is just 15 yards shy of Campbell's output over the same span, and the two are deadlocked with 20 rushing touchdowns and 10 100-yard games.
I try to use a lot of different running back styles. I try to outrun people.
January 2nd, 1986. These Aggies aren't Aggies. Teams from A&M past might have folded like a cheap Japanese fan, but this group rose to the occasion. The Aggies stormed back to take the lead, then lost it, got it back again, and then twice stopped the best back in college football when they had to. They not only won the game, but went a long way in convincing doubters that these Aggies are for real and worthy of proper respect. David Cass Stevens, Dallas Morning News.
What'll they write next? We can't wait to find out.
The Cotton Bowl, pageantry of college football. Kansas State leads BYU 8-5 at halftime, and there's Brigham Young University's Cougar Marching Band performing for us. Nicer day in Dallas than in Southern California. In the inaugural Big 12 championship, Texas, with one daring call, not only won the game, but rekindled a glorious past.
Today we're playing for the championship, not just any old game, but the championship. This is one of the great days of your lives.
The Longhorns took their coach's words to heart, but never dreamed that this, the greatest of days, would be measured by inches. There was a time, not so long ago, a golden age of Texas football. The winning flowed naturally like crude oil. Heisman Trophy winner Earl Campbell played as big as the heart of Texas and all those historic fourth down plays.
A coach lives for those situations, and that's what you dream about.
Remember the game of the century? Texas beat Arkansas after going for it on fourth down in a situation similar to the one that faced this year's team, with one big difference.
We were behind. Texas was ahead when John called it. Takes a lot more courage to do that when you're ahead.
Yes, ahead by 3, fourth down, 2 inches, ball on their own 28, 2:40 to play.
They had set all their people inside, figuring that for 2 inches, you'd be crazy not to just ram it into the line. The art and the beauty of the game is when you do the unexpected.
You can't think too much in a situation like that. That's when you make mistakes. I threw the ball naturally, just to him.
He wanted me not to drop it. It was almost like, don't drop this ball.
He didn't throw it like a normal pass. He was like, don't drop the ball.
Brown, fake the handoff, rolling to the left. He's going to throw downfield, wide open. Lewis at the 50, the 40, the 30, at the foot race, the 20, and he's dragged down to the 10-yard line. That may have been the gutsiest call of John Makovich's coaching career. What a call!
It never dawned or never entered my mind that we weren't going to be successful in that play. That play, I'd call that play exactly the same way and never think twice about it.
So short a distance, but so great a reward for the team, for the fans, for Texas.
America loves the underdog. America loves to see somebody work his way up and have success. Our country was built on that. And they identified with a Texas team that was 3 touchdown underdogs and was playing a valiant game, but they probably won't win. And that play said, you can do it. You can do it. And I think that's what so many people identified with.
Gus, he was here a couple days afterwards. I said to him, Coach, what were you thinking? He said, I was thinking touchdown. That's what I was thinking. Would you have made that call?
Oh, if I'd known it was going to turn out like that, I would have, but no way, 4th and 1. That's probably why I'm not in coaching anymore. I think you have to take chances, and he felt that would go. Me, personally, I would have punted the ball and counted on our defense.
Let me tell you why it worked, because the football team knew he was going to do it. He told his team during the week, if we get out in a situation, 4th and inches, and it's in the 4th quarter, we're going for it. And the team knew, without any doubt, timeout or no, we're going to run this play and we're going to make it work, and that's when you have success.
All right, speaking of the Cotton Bowl, let's take you back in time to January 1st, 1983. A young player named Craig James and a young reporter named Pat O'Brien. Congratulations. You know, one of the things about this team is that you guys have not played outside the state of Texas all year, have you?
That's right. That's what's so important to this game for us today. You know, nobody knew that we could go and compete with the teams on the East and the West Coast, and this today was very good for us.
Yeah, except for the point should be made that going to El Paso from here is like going to Chicago anyway. Texas is a big state.
That's right. It's a pretty big-sized state.
Okay, congratulations to all of you from CBS, and we'll be back with more from the Cotton Bowl in just a minute. Did I blow you off there, or did you blow me off?
I don't know. That was a pretty ignorant answer, though. I know that.
Hey, that face, that's TV all the way. I mean, but, hey, I got to tell you, 14 for 55, hey, that wasn't an all-American number.
That's when I used to dye my hair. What are you laughing about, though? Coach, want to show what you look like back there. There you are.
Wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. Hey, that's one of my New Year's resolutions. Never again am I going to ask a retired person where to get a haircut.
All right, let's take a look at the scoreboard. Tennessee and Northwestern. Update this score in the 3rd quarter with 11:54 to play there. 38-21 now. Tennessee up on top. Coming up, the second half of the Southwestern Bell Cotton Bowl Classic, where Kansas State leads BYU 8-5. After a message from your local station, join the second half.
We're back at the Cotton Bowl, where it could be a hockey or a baseball score. Kansas State leading 8-5, somewhat unusual on the scoreboard with some somewhat unusual plays. How about this last one as the clock ticked down to 0 at the end of the first half? This is Kavanaugh throwing a Hail Mary for Kansas State as they trailed 5-0. Lockett went up for it first. It bounced around, came off the hands of a BYU defender right into the hands of Andre Anderson for the score. Now, after the teams have been brought back onto the field, a 2-point conversion by Kansas State. And Phil McConkey, quite an unusual finish there, obviously. The referee had indicated that the offense had declined. The half can end on a defensive penalty unless the offense declines it. Then they wind up realizing they haven't given Kansas State the choice.
Added insult to injury. They gave up the Hail Mary pass. BYU did. Then they went into the locker room, had to come back, and they converted. They defended it well, but they got the 2 points.
Now, Kansas State's defense really started to come on.
They set out, and they've accomplished what they set out to do originally. They wanted to put pressure on Sarkisian, but what's surprising about how they've done it, they haven't done it with the blitz, Tim. It's done with 4 defensive linemen.
So that's put some pressure now on BYU's offense in the second half. Now, moments ago, our Steve Davis talked to Coach Bill Snyder of Kansas State. Let's go down to Steve.
Got Bill Snyder. Coach, that wild play at the end of the half, what all happened?
Well, nothing. That was just one of those Hail Mary type plays that anybody runs at the end of a half or end of a ball game. We're pretty fortunate that we get anybody's portion when that happens. Somebody's going to have to score some legitimate touchdowns here to win the ball game, that's for sure.
Have you ever taken points off the board?
Well, Yes, I have. We needed to at that time. There was some miscommunication in regards to what took place, and we needed to have the two-point conversion.
Coach, what kind of changes are you going to make here in the second half?
Well, we need to do something on offense. Going to have to run the ball a lot better. We're going to have to throw it better. Got to keep playing defense, not wear down. Got to get better pass rush.
Okay, Coach, good luck. Let's go back up to Tim.
All right, Steve, here's a look at what happened in the first half on the statistical sheet. You can see first downs even. And the rushing yardage, just 33 for Kansas State. That's a surprising job by BYU's defense. Only 23 by BYU. They've got to do better in that department. And the passing yardage edge wound up in favor of Kansas State, mainly on the strength of that long bomb into the end zone by Kavanaugh on the final play of the half. Kickoff deep into the end zone will not be brought out by BYU.
Split the uprights on that kick.
Unfortunately for K-State's Jamie Ream, there will be no points awarded for that. But BYU will be starting from the 20-yard line here to open the second half.
Well, we've got to see if BYU's offensive line can keep the pressure off Steve Sarkisian. They're going to have to accomplish that task if they wish to win this football game.
Steve Sarkisian leads out BYU to open the second half. He is 8 of 14, 79 yards in the first half. Brian McKenzie picks up maybe 6 on the first down. And let's go down to Steve Davis on the sideline.
Yeah, Tim, I spoke with Norm Chow, the offensive coordinator of BYU. Really what characterizes the first half in his mind is that they had too many blown assignments in the offensive line. They're going to come right back at running the football, really sticking to it. They're glad they've matched up physically, and then pick and choose where they can throw the ball most effectively.
Norm Chow is 19th year on the staff of Lavelle Edwards, and we'd like to offer our condolences to Norm and his family. His father, Warren, died Monday night in Honolulu very suddenly. Mother, Toby, there at home with the rest of the family, and the funeral is scheduled for next Monday. Norm Chow would like us to just pass along to his mom, Toby, that he'll be along to Honolulu as quickly as he can. And there is his father, Warren Chow, died on Monday night in Honolulu. And again, our sympathies go out to the Chow family. It leaves a 3rd and 1 here on the run by McKenzie for BYU. And Norm Chow's mind, no doubt, with a lot of mixed emotions, but his task at hand here is to try and get that offensive line going. And you heard Steve Davis say they plan to run. They've shown it on the first 2 downs. 3rd and less than a yard. McKenzie has Sarkisian had a little trouble handing the ball off to him, but he got the first down. BYU out to the 32-yard line. Swayzer and Simino made the tackle for the Wildcats.
BYU, you can see the smile on Sarkisian's face to get a first down. Line just slides to the right. They were wounded in that first half. They want to come out and show that they can be just as physical. There have been players on Kansas State's team that said, hey, we're more physical. We play in the Big 12. We've played these teams from the WAC before. We think we can out-physical this BYU team.
Dad Mark Altawaya is in the lineup now at the running back spot for BYU. Sarkisian has time, goes to the short man. Taylor Louis gets about 7, maybe 8 on the play, out near the 40-yard line. Simino and Gordon made the tackle.
They're going to do right here, they're going to take Taylor Louis and let him run an option route here. They call it a getaway route, and he'll just go down, find an opening, and just get open. You see him go to the outside here. They clear with the corner, and this is a play that they worked on a lot this week.
That's KO's first catch of the afternoon. It is 2nd down and a long yard. The motion behind the ball is Cahoon. McKenzie pulled down by the face mask, and the flag flies. Ryan McKenzie got the first down yardage, and he'll get some more.
Yeah, you can see that up here. That's the same play they ran to get the first down on 3rd and short just a short while ago.
Personal foul, twisting the face mask on the defense, 15 yards into the run.
Yeah, they gave him the big one too, the 15-yarder. That's intentional grabbing of the face mask.
You can see his head just yanked down from way up here when the play was run. McKenzie will just go down by the face, and that's blatant. That's Evans right there taking him down. And that's a big one. That's 15 yards. They've got 2 first downs. They've been running the ball right now. If that line gets some confidence, they'll be able to do well. It's 15 yards because it was blatant. If you just brush the face mask with your hands, it'll only be 5 yards.
So a first down in K-State territory at the 43-yard line. Opening series of the second half. And waiting in the hole was Damian McIntosh, number 77, as Jenkins had nowhere to run. The freshman from Hollywood, Florida, McIntosh, stopping the freshman from Port Hueneme, California. No gain. It'll be 2nd and 10. Kansas State's defense, one of the outstanding outfits in the entire country. They're number 4 against the pass, number 11 in scoring, and you can see the numbers here. They're stingy. 137 yards is all they give up through the air, and the running attack so far has opened it for BYU. Now the pass intended out for Dustin Johnson, a little high from Sarkisian.
The pass intended for number 32, Dustin Johnson. Incomplete.
That'll leave a 3rd and 10 for Sarkisian in K-State territory at the 43. Very poised and confident quarterback, Steve Sarkisian, junior college transfer, coming over into the ranks of BYU's great names at that position. The likes of Steve Young and Jim McMahon, Bobby Bosco, Mark Wilson, so many others. Cale Louie in motion behind the ball. Sack from behind, the ball is loose, picked up by McKenzie. An alert play by McKenzie, but Kansas State with their 6th sack of the afternoon, Travis Oaks.
They said they wanted to mix it up and confuse BYU. They did it that time. Niall Wyron, the left defensive end, dropped back into coverage, and they blitzed Oaks from the blind side of Sarkisian. Never saw him coming. Oaks that time came untouched.
Chris Canty is back awaiting the punt from Alan Boardman. Boardman standing at his 39-yard line. They'll hit it from the 43. Away from Canty to the sideline, out of bounds, up at the 22-yard line. So not a good punt from Boardman. And the Wildcats, after a 21-yard punt from Boardman, they'll start from their 22 when we return with 10:40 to go here in the 3rd quarter, and the Wildcats lead by 3.
Well, the greatest cotton field in the whole darn land doesn't have any cotton in it. But in Dallas, Texas on New Year's Day, there's a game there and folks want to win it. But I'm Cotton Bowl true. How about you? I'm Cotton Bowl true. How about you? Come January 1st, tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to the Cotton Bowl. How about you? Now you may show your allegiance to any bowl your team's got a spot in. But as for me, I don't care who's in Big D. I will always pick Cotton. Well, I'm Cotton Bowl true. How about you? I'm Cotton Bowl true. How about you? Come January 1st, tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to the Cotton Bowl. How about you?
You told us you wanted a truck with more playful performance. So for the all-new Dodge Dakota, our engineers matched quick ratio steering with a precision-tuned suspension, making it a blast to drive. Now, when Dakota responds precisely to your input, you'll know it's because we did too. The new Dodge Dakota. It's full of surprises.
Have you seen the elf? It's hiding behind this card. The elf.
The world's smallest 2x zoom camera. Very cool. The big news in the advanced photo system.
The elf. Have you seen the elf?
New from Canon.
Joe Paterno leads Penn State into battle against one of the hottest teams in the country, the Texas Longhorns. The Tostitos Fiesta Bowl in prime time tonight on CBS.
Tim Ryan, Phil McConkey, Steve Davis at the Cotton Bowl in Dallas, where Kansas State, with a last-second touchdown at the end of the first half, a Hail Mary pass caught by Andre Anderson, has an 8-5 lead. And now, after they huddled on the sideline, they've run onto the field. Chris Canty is on offense. 3 wide receivers to the left for Kansas State. Canty, the cornerback, they do use him in some of their passing situations. He's out there now. They'll run a little reverse. Andre Anderson off the wing. Wide receiver gets about 4 or 5 yards. Depending on the spot of the ball. So again, Canty just used as a decoy, as he was the last time he was on the field on offense.
Something they don't do very often is put a wide receiver in motion. And you can see that play developing. They brought 3 wide receivers down to the left side, and Tim McTire was yelling at Sampson, the safety, in the middle of the field to get over to that side and help out.
2nd and 5 after a 5-yard pickup. Canty stays on and comes wide left. They run the ball again. This time it's Lawrence, and he is stuffed. Little, if any, gain. Bloomfield, the tackle, number 91, bringing him down.
Again with that same formation, 3 wide receivers to the left side and lock it up at the top on the right side, just trying to spread it out a little bit and run the football. But Bloomfield is probably the best defensive lineman that BYU has made the stop.
Wildcats bring back in the tight end. Canty goes off. It's Gross Didier, number 82, on the field. Wide left comes Kevin Lockett. Slot formation to the right. And again, it's Kavanaugh changing things up, and the clock ticking down to 0, and he had to call timeout. And we talked to Ryan Kavanaugh and the coaching staff about those kinds of occurrences. They say they haven't had to do it too often, but it does occur.
That's amazing. They say they've only had 4 delay of game penalties during the season.
Well, but it's a timeout gone. We'll be back.
Can this simple structure make a car more fun? Well, if you work at it. The cross members in the undercarriage of a Dodge Stratus make the rails stiffer, which make the frame stronger, which make the ride better, and make the car more fun to drive. You can be sure we've been working on the rail all the livelong day. Dodge Stratus. Lease a Stratus now for as low as $259 per month or get $1,000 cash savings.
When you see that 2,000% a year internet growth rate, you want to just jump in. Thing is, the internet can help you gain or lose a lot of customers very quickly. If you disappoint someone, they can tell a few friends or a few thousand. It makes it crucial to work with a computer company that has experience helping people do business on the net. Not to mention the world's fastest servers, like Digital.
Digital, whatever it takes.
Is your dandruff sending the wrong signals? You're out! Get Selsun Power. Doctors recommend Selsun Blue #1, so don't send the wrong signals. Get Selsun Power.
Want whiter teeth in just 2 weeks? Then try Arm & Hammer Extra Whitening, the baking soda formula clinically proven to whiten teeth in 2 weeks. Arm & Hammer Extra Whitening, whiter teeth in just 2 weeks.
It's the Rainbow with special guest quarterback Terry Bradshaw.
Who's that?
He won 4 Super Bowls.
I never heard of him.
Catch it all new Everybody Loves Raymond, CBS Friday. Monday Night Football is off and CBS Big Company's on. Guess who's coming to dinner?
Mr. Lucas, how'd you like to have dinner with the president?
Who's paying? Guess who's rolling out the red carpet?
Gonna make a sweep of the house. Well, would you do the windows and the trash?
Guess who's on an all-new Cosby Big Comedy Monday?
Saturday at 1 o'clock Eastern Time on CBS, some of the great downhill names ever. The Jeep King of the Mountain Downhill Series. Stars from Austria, Canada, and Switzerland. That's Saturday, so be sure to tune in. And immediately following that, women's basketball. Notre Dame against Ohio State on Saturday, and then Sunday, more women's basketball. Penn State and Georgia, and Tennessee against UConn. We've got a sold-out Cotton Bowl Stadium here for the Classic, with Kansas State leading 8-5, 9:22 to go in the third quarter. An unusual game so far. in terms of the score and how they occurred. A safety and a field goal for BYU, a 5-0 lead. Kansas State scored in the last play of the first half. A Hail Mary caught by Andre Anderson from Brian Kavanaugh. It is 3rd down along for K-State at their own 28-yard line. Kavanaugh to throw. It's complete to Lockett. Lockett breaks loose. The linebacker Martin chasing him. Touchdown. yards for Kevin Lockett. BYU bottled him up in the first half, but he breaks away from Chris Ellison and takes it 72 yards for the score. 45,000 K-State fans here in Dallas. Let them know how much they enjoyed it. The all Big 12 wide receiver, leading pass catcher on K-State, the senior from Tulsa. The point after from Jamie Ream is good.
You got a change of play at the line of scrimmage. Kavanaugh went to his go-to guy on the slant, and he showed right there for the great qualities of wide receivers, of great wide receivers. Hands, route running ability, toughness to avoid the tackle, and speed going down the field. He is the guy for this offense, and they'll go to him every time they need a big play. Watch him on the slant, catch it, get bounced, and run.
So Kevin Lockett has Kansas State up by 10, 15-5 early in the second half.
Coors Light, the silver bullet. It's frost brewed to tap the clean taste of the Rockies.
Hey, where'd you come from?
It's the Hall of Fame, my man. You guys look bigger on TV.
Is your dandruff sending the wrong signals? Get Selsun Power. Doctors recommend Selsun Blue #1, so don't send the wrong signals. Get Selsun Power.
If your tools are looking a little more rusty than trusty, turn to the folks in the Red Vest, because they've got a wide variety, including Ace brand hand tools, built tough with a lifetime warranty. That's what makes Ace the place, with the helpful hardware folks.
I love sports. Come on, baby. Well, that's why we got Prime Star. Come on. Some might even say I'm a sports maniac.
No.
See, Prime Star's got more sports than even I can watch in digital picture and sound. Yeah! Prime Star's the best deal in satellite TV. There is no equipment to buy. And it all starts at about $1 a day. I might be a maniac, but I am not crazy.
For the best value in satellite TV, call 1-800-PRIME-STAR or visit your local Radio Shack.
Dodge Stratus and Dodge Ram have just received the prestigious J.D. Power & Associates Appeal Award. Stratus tied for most appealing entry midsize car, and Ram receiving the award for the second year in a row as most appealing full-size pickup. The Appeal Award comes from the most knowledgeable automotive experts of all, consumers. Frankly, we're tickled. See the friendly Dodge dealer near you.
The world's hottest skaters light up Las Vegas. You'll flip when you see these high rollers burning up the strip. The heat is on, but it's never too hot to skate. Saturday night on CBS.
There's the accounting major from Kansas State working on his master's in business. Kevin Lockett showed some business there. 72 yards, his longest career reception. And indeed for Brian Kavanaugh, his longest pass play as a Wildcat. And it opens a 10-point lead. Jamie Ream will kick it off. The deep men are James Dye and Ronnie Jenkins. 9:10 remains in the third quarter. That one comes down a yard inside the end line, and Jenkins rises lets it go. Both these kickers have been nailing their kickoffs. Let's look at that play again, Bill.
Well, Kavanaugh sees here is the safety in the corner doubling up on his guy Lockett. He sees outside position by the corner right here. He sends Lockett on the slant, converts the first down, but Lockett makes a great play to avoid the tackle. They don't wrap up. The safety doesn't get over in time, and it's all over. You're not going to catch number 83.
72 yards for the score. First down, BYU at their own 20-yard line. Steve Sarkisian play action. Gets some time, finds a man, and it'll be close to a first down. That's McGuire with a catch. Let's go to Pat O'Brien at our studios in New York.
All right, Tim, thank you. West Virginia loses its 6th consecutive bowl game, falling to North Carolina in the Gator Bowl. Oscar Davenport filling in for an injured Chris Keldorf. Hits Octavius Barnes on an 18-yard TD pass. He was a star. Let's go back to Tim Ryan.
Thank you, Pat. At the 30-yard line, it is a first down for the Cougars of BYU. Steve Sarkisian now with some pressure on him here. 10 points down. The vaunted BYU pass attack will have to start to get into motion. They stay on the ground on this play with Dustin Johnson, the junior from Eagar, Arizona. Johnson coming off a bout with the flu. He can also catch the ball. He's got 30 pass receptions this season. And with the loss of Itula Mealy, their brilliant All-American tight end, he'll be dividing the time as the H-back with Mark Atuwaya this afternoon. Second down and 6. Well, to make it a 7-yard need officially. It's a long 6. Straight drop. Out in the flat, wide open is Atuwaya, and Atuwaya has the first down. It's out near midfield. Mark Atuwaya, the new father. He and his wife Elizabeth. Baby girl yesterday.
Trying to get into the flow of things here, get into their offense on the left side. Atuwaya just sprints out to the left. They get 5 guys out in the pattern, and I think this is a technique they must teach at BYU. A guy comes down and hurdle him, get over the top of him. We've seen it twice today and a lot on tape earlier in the week. It's a high hurdler. And he's a guy, he's one of the greatest running backs in Hawaii high school football, that guy right there. And also a proud papa today.
Elvis Smith and Clyde Johnson getting the hit on him. First down at midfield. McKenzie driving hard. Gets about 5. A flag is down at the line of scrimmage.
Well, I'll guess offsides that time.
May have been a wide receiver for BYU, stepping ahead of the play. Oh, it's against the defense. The Wildcats of K-State, and again the microphone problem for referee Courtney Mazzi. Let's take a moment to go down to Steve Davis on the sideline. Steve?
Yeah, thanks, Dan. We've talked all day about Itula Mealy as really a great tight end. Well, he's here right here on the sidelines. He's as much emotional as he is a player. First of all, how's the knee?
The knee's coming along. I had a really good surgery, and I'm in rehab right now, and so it takes a lot of hard work, but it's getting there.
It's got to be tough being on the sidelines. They need you out there today.
Yeah. It's hard to sit out here and just watch those guys go at it because I know I'm supposed to be in there now. And the defense they run and stuff, I know that's the kind of defense that I need to be in, so, geez, it's really hard.
All right, Steve. Dustin Johnson stopped right at the line of scrimmage by Clyde Johnson. And so it'll be 2nd and 5. Right at the 45-yard line. Mealy, a huge loss. 46 catches on the season. Perhaps their best all-around football player. And he was hurt in the championship game against Wyoming in the WAC Conference Championship. 46 catches, 692 yards, and 3 touchdowns. So you know what a valued player he is on the BYU team. 2nd and 5. Sarkisian, he's got a man open. That's Johnson. First down to the 22-yard line. Called down by Mario Smith, the senior safety. Good-looking play from the BYU pass offense.
You talk about Mealy, that's one of the two guys, Dustin Johnson, along with James Dye, that they wanted to utilize to take up the slack. Johnson just goes up the seam that time. They're getting good protection. That offensive line made some adjustments at halftime. They're picking up that four-man rush of Kansas State right now. Now let's see if they start to blitz BYU.
First down at the 23-yard line of Kansas State. 6:12 to go in the third. Wildcats by 10. Kealilui in motion, goes out the left side, rolling that way is Sarkisian. Kealilui comes back to the ball. It is incomplete. Ko trying to convince the official he made the catch, but it was trapped.
Ko is telling us that his high school team was state champion every year, Tim. But the thing is, there are only 4 teams, high school teams, that play on Maui. See the ball hit the ground. That's pretty close. Pretty close.
And you can hear the BYU faithful seeing a replay, thinking that he caught it, but it did appear the tip of the ball hit the ground. I think the pressure of the tackler coming on top of him is what forced that. He might have been able to keep it off the ground had he not been hit. 2nd and 10. Another sack. That is 7 on the afternoon, and Niall Wyron, who had 11.5 coming into this game, gets his first. The all Big 12 defensive end.
On the left side, they do blitz that time. We were talking about them not bringing anybody. Travis Oakes comes from the outside, occupies Dustin Johnson, but Wyron, their leading sacker, gets another one.
Niall Wyron, who works on the speed bag to improve his hand speed, working against the much bigger tackles that he faces. He's not a big defensive end, just 250 pounds. 7 sacks, 41 yards lost by BYU against that pressure defense. 6 sacks from 6 different K-State defenders. Play action, Sarkisian steps up down the sideline, and that could have been an interference call.
Boy, he shoved him right out of bounds.
Holy smokes, and over the whole staff of BYU is out on the field complaining. There are 7 coaches out there complaining to the official, and they have a legitimate gripe, I would have to say. That was quite a push.
Big time. That official blew that call right there.
Let's see it. Fogel is the guy who makes the push, the linebacker number 8.
Push, a shove, it just knocked him clear out of bounds. You don't even see it. It hit him right in the back. You don't even see the receiver that time. And boy, Kansas State got away with one that time. A blown call by the official, and it's 4th down.
They are still complaining in front of the BYU bench, the coaching staff, for the official working the sideline. 4th down, they're going for it. They've made 16 of 23 this year. Sarkisian just gets it away, and there's another pull down over there.
I can't believe they're not going to call a penalty.
Well, that ball might have been uncatchable out of bounds, but there's no flag.
This is 2 in a row. I mean, to me, yeah, well, he's holding him right there.
There's one there, but it's even more egregious down here.
Blatant right here. Just absolutely blatant. And how they can say that the ball was uncatchable if they were saying that.
I'm not saying they were saying it. I'm saying that'd be the only possibility.
Well, I'm saying that they've blown 2 calls right in a row. Officials on both sides of the field. And BYU, their coaches are out on the field, and they've got big-time reason to be upset.
And so Kansas State takes over the ball. Let's go down to Steve Davis.
I want to tell you guys, the BYU sidelines is losing a little bit of religion. They're very upset. Obviously, this is firing up this whole sideline. Tim?
All right, this is Lawrence on 1st down for the Wildcats. And Lawrence digs for about 4.
I hate to belabor it, but that second one was even more so than the first one. He interfered with him as he went by him. Joe Morgan did that time. And it was right in front of the official. There's Norm Chow still yelling. Joe Gordon, I should say, a defensive back.
So it is 2nd down and 6. An infuriated sideline, as Steve Davis commented on. They were out on the field complaining to the officials. What a hit on Lawrence. That was Bloomfield, the tackle number 91. Maybe a loss of about a half yard. Mike Lawrence, the junior running back from Carroll City, Florida.
Well, Bloomfield wants to take matters into his own hands. He said, if we can't rely on the officials to call a correct game, I'm going to get in there and show that we're just as physical. And this team right now, hey, this could be a rallying point for this BYU team. Let's see how this unfolds.
That's Keo Kealalui, who is the man victimized, it appeared to us, on the play down the far sideline. Chris Canty's come in on offense for the Wildcats. Kavanaugh to Lockett, a little behind him. He couldn't bring it in. And pressure on Kavanaugh coming from the defensive end, Keel number 56.
Well, you know where he's going when he wants to convert a third down play. They ran a crossing route that time with Andre Anderson and Kevin Lockett. Lockett had a step. If that ball was out in front, he may have gone the distance again.
And so the defense of BYU rising up after that controversial series. James Garcia into punt, standing at his 22-yard line. James Dye waiting for it at the 15. Wildcats lead 15-5. 3:39 to go in the third. Tim Ryan, Phil McConkey, and Steve Davis. We've got a lot of unusual plays in this Cotton Bowl game in Dallas. 3 of them involving the officials. Dye gets out to the 25-yard line. We might point out the officiating staff from the Atlantic Coast Conference today. 52-yard punt for Garcia and a 14-yard return.
Here's Joe Gordon on Kealalui. He gets beat on the hook and go. He grabs him. That should have been a flag right there initially. And here he comes with the left hand. Doesn't even look back at the ball. Grabs him, throws him to the ground. I don't know. The official was looking at the ball, not the play.
Larry Hagman returns to CBS in a powerful new dramatic series.
You wouldn't be offering my colleague a bribe now, would you?
In a city filled with secrets, there's one man who has all the answers.
I know, and you know, you're guilty as hell.
Totally unorthodox.
Oh, my.
Highly respected. He controls Orleans.
A family is a very precious and fragile thing, and you destroyed it.
Where things are done a little differently.
And I'm going to take you down.
Orleans, CBS next Wednesday.
The most compelling action is on CBS Sports.
We're in Dallas, a sold-out Cotton Bowl with a lot of eventful play so far. Kansas State leading 15-5. BYU led it 5-0 with a safety and a field goal. And then a last-second Hail Mary pass, Kavanaugh to Andre Anderson, put Kansas State on top. A controversial finish to the first half when the referee, Courtney Mousy, used a declining signal after an infraction against BYU on the point after. Teams came back on the field. K-State converted a 2-point conversion, and they have since scored once more on a 72-yard pass play. Sarkisian complete to the tight end, and it is a flag down behind the line of scrimmage, making Johnson, 32, the H-back, coming out to make the catch on the first down yardage, but a flag down at the line of scrimmage.
Holding on the offense, 10 yards, spot of the foul, repeat first down.
Holding call against BYU. That's the first holding call of the game.
They've got to feel like they're snake bitten right now. All those calls going against them. You can see Johnson, James, number 59. It looks like he's maybe the culprit there, knocking down Holden Simmons, number 99.
So the first down wiped out, and it comes back to the 10-yard line of BYU. The only team that had this kind of pressure and sacking ability against BYU this season created their only loss, and that was the Huskies of Washington, who sacked Sarkisian 8 times. This is Jenkins, the freshman, running back, and a great defensive play by Deshaun Fogel, blasting in to get the freshman before he could turn upfield. Ronnie Jenkins caught by Fogel. Loss of 2 on the play.
Try to stretch the ball out. Cox, 76, pulls the left guard that time. Jenkins has nowhere to go. Fogel's their big run stopper, and he showed some speed. This is not a big team defensively for Kansas State, but they're very active and they're very quick, and they swarm to the ball.
They've been getting better and better with each series. Play action, Sarkisian, good catch by Kaipo McGuire. Well short of the first down, but out to the 22-yard line. Kaipo McGuire, Pearl City, Hawaii, a senior at 5'11", 180 pounds. Sarkisian waving to the bench for players.
Got banged up a little bit there.
James Dye comes in at wide receiver, 3rd down and 12. Sarkisian up the middle. A flag is thrown this time. It's intended for Chad Lewis, the tight end. The pass from Sarkisian. They may get an interference call this time, although I think it was on another receiver downfield. Well, it's a defensive holding call, and that'll be a first down. 45,000 Wildcat faithful boo that call by referee Courtney Mozzie.
Look at Steve Sarkisian's numbers, 48 quarters, 32 touchdowns. The last 11, only 1.
Inside handoff, Dustin Johnson. Johnson breaks a tackle and gets up to the 42-yard line, close to a first down. Nice running by the 235-pound fullback.
What they're doing is they're doing a lot of tight end with 2 wide receivers in the back to help keep the pressure off Sarkisian. Just a draw that time. You'll see pulling guard. That it was Johnson, opened up a hole, and Dustin Johnson, when he gets ahead of steam, he can get upfield. And you notice Kaipo McGuire blocking number 80. Good wide receivers will block the defensive backs, and he did a pretty good job that time, getting him some extra yardage.
Just short of the first down. It'll be 2nd and a yard. Slot formation to the right. In motion is Ben Cahoon, number 86, behind the ball. McKenzie, he's got running room. McKenzie has the first down and a gain of about 6 yards on the play. They'll spot it at the 47-yard line of the Cougars. Mark Simino, the freshman linebacker, number 42 on the tackle for K-State. Time winding down in the 3rd quarter. Wildcats lead by 10. Chad Lewis, the tight end, returns to the lineup, number 96. Wide to the left goes Kaipo McGuire. Sarkisian now 13 of 23, 137 yards. Play action again as he is pursued. Can't get the ball off. It's loose. A scramble for it. Kansas State had a shot at it, but I believe the Cougars, now they're going to call it an incomplete pass. Darren Howard had the charge, along with Niall Wyron, and they both trying to grab the loose ball.
Wyron that time lined up on the left side. They're getting pressure. He just beat Chad Lewis, the tight end. They keep coming from Sarkisian's backside, and he was lucky that time to get it away.
It is ruled an incomplete pass. Let's see if he's got that motion there. He has a receiver in mind over on the left side. There he is there, and it does indeed look on the replay that he was trying to get the ball out to Aduwaya. But a close call there for the Cougars. 2nd and 10. More pressure. He'll run it. He's got some running room. First down to the 40-yard line. Thad Swayzer stopped him in Kansas State territory at the 40.
Boy, he must feel like he's under attack in this game. He's running for his life. Nobody open. They block Wyron that time on the ground. Fogel comes from the other side. He just waves everybody off. Nobody open. And he can run a little bit. Like we said earlier, he's not as fast as a Steve Young, but he ran for first down that time. But he's got to be frustrated with the inability of BYU's offense to block Kansas State. And they're not bringing a lot of guys, Tim.
Clock winds down. That's the end of the third quarter with the score. Kansas State's Wildcats 15, the Cougars of BYU 5. We'll return to the Southwestern Bell Cotton Bowl Classic after this message and a word from your local station.
Larry Hagman returns to CBS in a powerful new dramatic series.
You wouldn't be offering my colleague a bribe now, would you?
In a city filled with secrets, there's one man who has all the answers.
I know, and you know, you're guilty as hell.
Totally unorthodox.
Oh, my.
Highly respected. He controls Orleans.
A family is a very precious and fragile thing, and you destroyed it.
Where things are done a little differently.
And I'm going to take you down.
Orleans, CBS next Wednesday.
CBS. Welcome home.
This is it. Your Northeast Ohio Ford dealer's leadership sales drive is in its final days. Time is running out to save big on everything in stock. Like Northeast Ohio's best-selling Ford Taurus for $248 a month for 24 months. Or Northeast Ohio's best-selling full-size pickup Ford F-150 for $258 a month. That's $248 for Taurus or $258 for F-150. The biggest clearance of the year is in its final days. Don't wait. The leadership sales drive is going fast. See your Northeast Ohio Ford dealer, home of 7 of the 10 bestsellers again.
Right now, the nation's best horses are off and running all winter long at Thistledown. With our full card simulcasting, you can wager on over 120 races daily from Santa Anita to Aqueduct. And starting January 3rd, racing's favorite winter hotspot, Gulfstream Park, debuts. So let Thistledown heat up your cold winter days and nights with the hottest racing action in town.
America's best fan. In racing, Thistledown.
May I take your order, please? Excuse me?
He said he wants chili.
When it's cold, nothing but a hot bowl of Wendy's rich and meaty chili will do, so we keep it simmering all day long. And it's just 99 cents on our super value menu.
Chili.
No, baked potatoes.
Or warm up with a 99-cent sour cream and chive baked potato, slow baked in an oven.
Chili. No, baked potato.
No, his car won't start.
Wendy's 99-cent super value menu, 10 delicious choices every day.
From all of us at CBS 19.
Happy New Year.
Tim Ryan, Phil McConkey, Steve Davis in Dallas at the Cotton Bowl, where Kansas State from the Big 12 leads the number 5 ranked BYU Cougars 15-5. Champions of the Western Athletic Conference having their problems on offense against a swarming, charging Kansas State defense. BYU has scored at least one touchdown in their previous 130 games. They do not have one yet today as we enter the final period here. James Dye, the intended receiver. K-State's defense, dazzling all season long. Number 4 against the pass, number 11 in scoring. And they are 50-3 in the 1990s when leading after 3 quarters, and that's all due to that very consistent defense that Bill Snyder and his staff have assembled since Snyder came to K-State 8 years ago. 2nd and 10. Sarkisian again under pressure, and that's going to be picked off. Mario Smith. The senior from Miami, Florida. His 3rd interception of the year. Sarkisian overthrowing the intended receiver, Kayla Louie.
Again, pressure from the backside. Swayzer and Howard apply the pressure and force Sarkisian to overthrow his receiver, Kayla Louie, into the waiting hands of a defender right there for the interception. They've got him flustered right now.
Wildcats had counted on this kind of defensive pressure against the BYU passing offense. So far it has worked. Mike Lawrence. Phil, you were commenting as we were away in a commercial that this big offensive line of BYU just unable to cope with the speed of those Wildcats and their rush package.
Yeah, they're all 6'6", 6'7", 300 pounds, and Kansas State counters with a smaller defense. Their defensive ends are 240, 250, but they're very active and very fast, and BYU's offensive line cannot counter that right now.
BYU has had the ball for 12 minutes of that third quarter, but Kansas State still with the lead, 10 points. And the ball now. And that time it is a good defensive play by McTire coming up from the corner to stop Mike Lawrence. A loss on the play of about 3 yards back to the 25.
You can hear that hit from way up here. Double tight end, motion to the side the play was going, and McTire just came in and leveled the running back that time, Lawrence.
Official attendance today, 71,928. Capacity crowd with more than 45,000 of them coming from the state of Kansas to support the Wildcats. About 10,000 estimated to have come down from the Utah area around the BYU campus at Provo and city of Salt Lake. Flag down as somebody moved before the may have been the clock down to 0.
Well, that's 2 in this game. They said they only had 4 during the year. We've seen 2. Like we said before, a play comes in from the run coordinator, pass coordinator.
Dead ball. Delay of the game. On the offense. 5 yards. Third down.
It is delay a game.
Very unusual the way they call plays. They have a pass and a run ready. They send it down, and then the head coach Snyder decides whether he's going to run it or pass it. They have to single it in. The quarterback has to make the adjustment to the line of scrimmage. It takes a lot of time. They got caught twice today.
Dana Dimmel, the offensive coordinator up there wearing the glasses, is the man who sends down the plays, and he'll be the head coach at Wyoming next year in the JAC Conference, facing BYU. Kavanaugh complete to Andre Anderson. Anderson made the touchdown catch on the Hail Mary play at the end of the first half.
Good zone defense that time by the Cougars. They had Lockett, 83, in the slot that time. He ran a corner route, and Anderson came in on the slant at about 5 yards. They had the guy covered downfield, Lockett, but they got the ball to Anderson, and he's limping a little bit right now.
Anderson limping off the field. And it brings up 4th down, well short of the first on the pass to Anderson. Die back at the 33-yard line.
He can turn a game around, number 6.
James Garcia, the punters, punted well today, apart from that one free kick following the safety in the first half.
Here.
Line shot there, a low one, and Die cannot get away from the first tackler down. That is Dimitri Denmark, and a good job by the cornerback Denmark. 49-yard punt, no return. The BYU will start from their 22-yard line when we return with 12:13 remaining in regulation.
Dodge Caravan not only offers a convenient driver's side sliding door, it's cleverly designed to hold the sliding doors open, even when you're parked on the steepest of hills. Try it out for yourself, if you're ever so inclined. Dodge Caravan, just as original as the original.
At BASF, we don't make the mattress, we make it softer. We don't make the boots, we make them drier. We don't make the house, we make it livelier. We don't make the snowboard, we make it stronger. At BASF, we don't make a lot of the products you buy, we make a lot of the products you buy better. BASF.
Craig Lambert isn't too worried about how to invest for Zach's college education. That's because he works with a broker from Dean Witter. Together, they developed a long-term investment plan to help take Zach wherever he wants to go.
Clients feel most comfortable with our ability to see things from their perspective.
Now, when Craig looks into his son's eyes, he can see the future and smile. Dean Witter.
We measure success one investor at a time.
January 2nd, 1986.
These Aggies aren't Aggies. Teams from A&M past might have folded like a cheap Japanese fan, but this group rose to the occasion. The Aggies stormed back to take the lead, then lost it, got it back again, and then twice stopped the best back in college football when they had to. They not only won the game, but went a long way in convincing doubters that these Aggies are for real and worthy of proper respect. David Cass-Stevens, Dallas Morning News.
What'll they write next? We can't wait to find out.
CBS Sports presentation of the Southwestern Bell Cotton Bowl Classic has been sponsored by your friends and neighbors at Southwestern Bell. Here's to classics to come. Wrangler, real, comfortable, jeans. And by the new Dodge. It's about change.
Tim Ryan, Phil McConkey, here at the Cotton Bowl with Steve Davis. 15-5 Kansas State leads by 10, 12, 13 to go. More football tonight from the Fiesta Bowl in Tempe, Penn State in Texas. 8 o'clock Eastern time right here on CBS Sports. Another exciting college football New Year's Day bowl game. First down, BYU at their own 23-yard line. Comes one of those defining moments in a football game. 12-13 to play. They trail by 10. The Cougars must make something happen this offensive series. Sarkisian gets some time and finds his man Dye. Dye had a jump for the ball, but came down with it in a first down to the 43-yard line of the Cougars. Dye, the senior from LA, the speediest receiver on the BYU roster. They look to him for big plays.
One of the rare times that the 5 offensive linemen picked up all 4 defensive linemen from Kansas State, gave Sarkisian some time, and if you do that, he'll hit these guys downfield.
Third catch for Dye. He's got 38 yards. Weston Johnson set on the wing left there in the H-back position. They go to Jenkins. Jenkins skips through. Picks up about 6. They've been unable to get the freshman loose for a big gainer. He's got some speed in the Dye category. Semino and Oakes made the tackle. Last 5 possessions for BYU have not been productive. Starting at their own 48, a punt. Deep in their own zone, they had to punt twice from the 20. They went for it on that 4th possession and gave it up on downs, and then the interception by Mario Smith. Kansas State's Wildcats under tremendous defensive pressure since the beginning of the second quarter. Good protection that time. The tight end Lewis. Chad Lewis, 6'6", 250-pounder, way downfield to the 32-yard line of Kansas State. Fogel and Smith on the hit.
Cahoon number 86 at the top of the screen clears out for the tight end, who runs about a 15-yard out pattern that time. And again, good protection. Howard coming from the backside, but goes around the quarterback. And when you give Steve Sarkisian protection, he's just shown it twice in a row, Tim, he'll connect.
It is up to the line of John Tate, James Johnson, Larry Moore, Matt Cox, and Jason Anderson to do the job. Chris Canty, the All-American cornerback, being helped and limping off to the sidelines. Canty told us, this All-American, twice that if he played well today or even had a quiet game that he was satisfied with, he will probably tell the media after the game today that he will enter the NFL draft.
And he's got all the tools, be sure of that.
Denmark comes in for Canty, working the other side from his normal spot. Joe Gordon continues on the far corner. There's the pass deep for Dye. He made the catch. Touchdown. What a job by James Dye with Denmark fighting for the ball. Dye prevailed and took it into the end zone.
Well, you take a 2-time All-American corner, maybe the best in the country at covering people, take him out of the game. Denmark is on James Dye, and again, the key to that one is protection. They did blitz that time, Kansas State, and Dye, who's known more as a great kick returner, makes a great catch on the go pattern over Denmark.
Just as Denmark looked back for the ball, it arrived in the hands of Dye. And the point after by Putchman is good.
He's playing with a brace on his left leg. He has a great amount of speed, and he showed at that time nothing fancy. Denmark gets his left hand in there, doesn't look back for the footballer. He does, and it's too late. And this guy makes a great catch for a kick returner.
5'9", 160-pounder, showing his strength into the end zone, and it is 15-12.
Wrangler jeans, available in the 2 colors boys prefer most, black and blue. Wrangler, real, comfortable jeans. Pine Lake, 3 friends, 3 pair of Wrangler jeans. Everybody's comfortable, even the fish. Wrangler, real, comfortable jeans.
From behind the wheel, you might think of Dodge Caravan as a car, probably because in some ways it is. Its cab-forward, wheels-to-the-corners design makes it stable and sure-footed, a lot like a car. Its advanced suspension makes it nimble and agile, a lot like a car. With all the utility of a spacious 4-door van, all of which suggests we got the name right. Caravan, just as original as the original.
When I got rid of my gray hair, I wanted a natural look, so I didn't take any chances. I used the sure thing for a natural look called Just for Men.
Apply Just for Men, and in 5 minutes, rinse. It's specially timed to blend away gray, bring back your natural look, and condition hair.
It's a sure thing.
Just for Men, the sure thing for a natural look. And now try Just for Men Color Gel for the hard-to-color hair of mustaches and beards. Brush in, rinse out. Just 5 minutes.
If children are a blessing, then grandchildren are truly a gift. They renew our hope, they recapture our youth. And as grandparents, you want to give them something in return. So perhaps you should consider giving your grandchildren life insurance from State Farm. It's a personal and flexible gift that you can add to as they grow, to help give them financial security for many years to come. Let your State Farm agent help you ensure that their days will be as bright as they made yours.
The most compelling action is on CBS Sports.
Back at the Cotton Bowl, Kansas State leading 15-12, but BYU scored, and the reason they did it, great protection up front by these guys here. Fogle will come on the blitz. Both backs come over to pick it up and give Sarkisian time to release the ball, and he gets it upfield. Great play by James Dye and the entire offense.
And that is the best offensive series by the offensive line and backfielders helping out with the protection, because they have not had that kind of protection since the first quarter. And there is the guy who made the catch. Chris Canty has returned to the lineup and indeed is out there on the kickoff return team for Kansas State. 15-12 with 10:55 to go. Kickoff deep again from Pochman. These two kickers have been outstanding this afternoon. Ream and Pochman both.
We're not used to this warm air. Less dense the ball travels.
Let's go down to the sidelines and Steve Davis.
Okay, guys, Coach Snyder has a very tight policy about reporting injuries, but here's what's going on. A lot of guys are coming off very tight. They're putting ice on their legs. Canty came out, was complaining about it, and then he was right back in the ball game. So it was that one play and a smart call on BYU's part that made a big difference.
They went right to Denmark, his replacement, and the touchdown pass to Dye. Thanks, Steve. First down from the 20-yard line. Play action. Kavanaugh, complete out the left side. That's Gross Didier, the tight end. Jared Gross Didier, number 82.
Dana Dimmel, their run coordinator, told me before the game that they were a little concerned about the heat, and it's showing up right now. Some of their players are getting cramps during the game. There's Dana there standing up. He's on his way to Wyoming to take over as head coach of that program, and they've got a good guy coming to that program.
That's with those shades. I mean, that's a look, isn't it?
He's worried about the sun. He said it's too hot, it's sunny. I want it cold and dark.
Well, these guys are from Kansas, and BYU is coming from Utah where there's snow. I don't quite get that. Nonetheless, straight ahead is Lawrence. Look at him battle Mike Lawrence. for the first down and then some to the 35-yard line. The 5'10", 190-pound junior showing his leg strength.
What's very interesting about Mike Lawrence is they say he's probably the third or fourth best running back on this team, but all he does is lead them in rushing. The other guy, Mike Charles, probably has more ability, but Bill Snyder right now doesn't have a lot of confidence in Charles to execute the plays, pick up the blitzes, and hang on to the football. That's why you see so much of Mike Lawrence.
Marlon Charles has not seen a lot of action today. Eric Hickson, who was the starter, out for the season with an injury, and so Lawrence became the man. This is deep down, intended for Lockett, and that was close to being an interference call as well, with the coverage by Morgan, Omar Morgan, number 1.
I'm a little surprised right now that they're throwing the ball the way they are on first down. Great coverage, Omar Morgan, and the official down there said that the ball was uncatchable out of bounds, and that's why he didn't throw a penalty.
Well, it's interesting that we saw that very obvious signal. We did not see that on the other side of the field, the one involving Kale Alui earlier in this half.
Lockett slow getting back to the huddle. That may force them to call a timeout. And BYU calls it.
And so we'll be back at the Cotton Bowl with a timeout. 10:15 to go in the fourth. Kansas State by 3.
What's with young players these days? Take Kevin Garnett.
I was out of my league.
I gotta help this guy. He was shaving with a foam. My word. Hey, Head Shave Gel has 6 lubricants, so it protects better than foam.
Nobody told me.
No. Front to back. Front to back.
Edge Shave Gel. Save your skin.
I think it changed his life.
You know how 1 dog ear equals 7 human ones? Well, computers are like that compared to other machines. A 7-year-old airplane is younger than a 1-year-old server. It makes buying decisions tough. It turns systems into orphans way too soon. Computer people ought to be sensitive to that. No matter how great the new stuff is, they should work with, even optimize their old stuff. Digital does it. Everybody should.
Digital. Whatever it takes.
Coors Light, the silver bullet. It's frost brewed to tap the clean taste of the Rockies.
Hey, where'd you come from?
The Hall of Fame, my man. You guys look bigger on TV.
Tim Ryan, Phil McConkey, Steve Davis here at the Cotton Bowl. A look at the game summary to this point. Sarkisian 17 of 30, up to 217 yards now. 1 touchdown, 1 interception. The total yardage for BYU, they average more than 400 a game, 478 to be exact, 6th best in the country. Kansas State has done the job defensively.
Yeah, the big thing there, 7 sacks for Kansas State. That's what they aimed to do when they came into this game, disrupt Sarkisian, but it seemed in the last series that the offensive line of BYU is settling down. And let's go down to Steve Davis.
Okay, the reason why they called the timeout, they didn't have the right combination they wanted on this critical 2nd and 10 play. Spencer Reed was out of position, didn't know whether he should be on or off the field.
So each team with 2 timeouts remaining, 10:15 to go regulation time. 2nd and 10. Kavanaugh from the shotgun, and he is sacked. Coming free was Shea Muirbrook. That's his 3rd sack of the day. He got the one back in the first quarter for the safety.
You had 5 defensive backs that time covering 3 wide receivers. Kavanaugh had nowhere to go with the ball. And Lawrence, we just talked about him being in the game because he could pick up the blitz. Well, he didn't pick up Muirbrook that time. Number 46 is a Butkus Award finalist the last 2 years, and that's why, Tim.
So it was a well-called timeout by BYU. They got the personnel and made the big play. That's a screen pass caught by Dean. And he is stopped well short of the first down yardage.
Again, number 46.
Muirbrook making the play. And it is 4th down, a punting situation for Kansas State. 9:14 to go. Muirbrook trying to rally the BYU faithful, about 10,000 strong, overwhelmed by the purple shirts of Kansas State fans here at the Cotton Bowl, but noisy nonetheless. Very supportive fans who have come down from the Utah area. Dye back to receive the punt, waiting at the 29-yard line. Another low punt from Garcia, fielded by Dye. Dye battles his way out to the 38-yard line. Not bad field position. 43-yard punt, a 10-yard return. Brandon Knowles on the tackle. 8:40 to play, regulation. KSU by 3.
It's about time and finding faster ways to take new ideas from drawing board to reality. It's about the search for methods to make machinery last longer or make a long drive seem shorter. It's about making time to look beyond the obvious. And most of all, about taking time to listen. All things change through time. Cars, trucks, and a company.
When you first come into the league, you're at the bottom of the mountain.
Football camp is the hardest thing I've ever been through.
Team, coaches, media,
all eyes are looking at me. Your whole body just starts getting hot.
We asked some of the NFL's hottest rookies to switch antiperspirants and try Degree.
Body heat activated.
As your body heat rises, Degree releases extra protection when you need it most.
As I work harder, Degree works harder.
This stuff really works.
When your temperature rises, here it is, Degree.
Body heat activated Degree for an extra degree of protection.
Help me keep my coolness.
1847, Werner Siemens opens his first factory and begins to manufacture the world's most advanced telegraph. That was then. This is now. Today, Siemens has 80 factories all across America, with over 20,000 manufacturing people turning out an astonishing variety of high-tech electronic and electrical products with quality American industry can count on. Siemens, precision thinking.
Joe Paterno leads Penn State into battle against one of the hottest teams in the country, the Texas Longhorns. The Tostitos Fiesta Bowl in prime time tonight on CBS.
All-American cornerback Chris Canty of Kansas State in evident pain, being assisted to the locker room. We don't know what the injury is. If we can get an official report, we'll obviously pass it on as quickly as possible. But Canty has been replaced on the field by Dimitrik Denmark, number 29, the junior from Winter Haven, Florida. Dye caught the last touchdown pass by BYU, their first touchdown of the game over Denmark when Canty went out for the first time. First down. BYU down by 3. Sarkisian under pressure, escapes. Finds a man, the tight end Lewis, first down. BYU inside the 45 of Kansas State. Sarkisian, 18 of 31 now.
Shows lots of composure. Again, one of the ingredients of the other great quarterbacks at BYU is the savvy of a Jim McMahon. That's what Lavelle Edwards talked about. 4 men going again this time. They got some time, but he scrambled out of the pocket, had the presence of mind to go upfield, find his tight end, Chad Lewis, for the first down.
And Lewis with a good job reacting to the pressure, forcing his quarterback to the right. He came back to help him out. First down. Inside handoff, Dustin Johnson eludes one tackler, battles his way near the 40-yard line of the Wildcats. Gain of about 4.
James Johnson that time, the left guard, pulled and was able to get a good block on Niall Wyron that time. Johnson's a guy, you can see him pulling from his left guard position right here to seal off the defensive end and allow Johnson to get some positive yardage upfield. His wife's an All-American basketball player, and we talked about it the other day. He said, hey, at least there's one athlete in the family.
He's a pretty good one. Also a CFA Student Athlete Award winner and the Cotton Bowl Academic Athlete Award winner. Ronnie Jenkins stopped by Darren Howard before he could get anywhere. Maybe a loss on the play. Let's go down to the sideline and Steve Davis.
Yes, Tim. Chris Canny has gone into the dressing room. He is dehydrated, so they're putting some fluids into his system, and he should be all right. Whether he'll be back in time is still much a question.
5 yards. Second down.
All right, Steve, there's a penalty against BYU. Illegal procedure, the call. It'll leave it 2nd and 11 as the ball is brought back 5 yards to the 45-yard line of Kansas State.
It's interesting, Tim, sorry, that the weather and the heat seems to be bothering Kansas State more than BYU. We haven't seen any BYU players come down with cramps so far.
2nd and 11. Sarkisian flush, good coverage downfield. Now he lets fly for Lewis, and Lewis can't make the grab as Fogel, the linebacker, came back to break it up.
Boy, it's uncanny, Sarkisian's accuracy as he throws the ball on the run. He hit Lewis that time right in the helmet. Watch this ball just hit him right in the head. Looked like he turned away at the last second. He was falling to the ground, which made the catch more difficult. But Steve isn't too happy about that. His buddy dropped the ball.
That leaves 3rd and 11. 7 minutes to go regulation time. Kansas State by 3. 15-12. Wildcat fans get into it. Pressure again, and they get him. Travis Oaks, 8th sack of the day by Kansas State.
That time on the right side, they line up the tight end, Chad Lewis and Dustin Johnson up on the line of scrimmage. They don't account for the blitzing linebacker, Oaks, and that's one of the few times this half they flex the tight end, allowing that blitzing linebacker room to get to the quarterback.
Oaks had only 3 sacks coming into the game, but the sophomore from Overland Park, Kansas, told him that he might be involved in the sack department today, blitzing from the linebacker spot. That punt into the end zone, a 49-yarder from Alan Boardman. And let's go to New York and Pat O'Brien.
All right, Tim, thank you. Tennessee beat Northwestern today in the Citrus Bowl in Orlando. Peyton Manning puts UT up 28-21 after a 67-yard touchdown pass to Joey Kent. Manning threw 4 touchdown passes, ran for another 410 passing yards, a new Citrus Bowl record. And Tim, could it be Peyton Manning's final college game? Back to you.
Wow, that's an impressive result, Patrick. A 20-point win by Tennessee over Northwestern. A 3-point game here, 6:21 to go. Kansas State has the ball at their own 20-yard line. Here's Lawrence, and he is swarmed under for a loss. So the BYU defense coming up big here. Ed Lamb into the ball game, number 44 at right defensive end, along with Henry Bloomfield, who's been very solid at left tackle all day long.
They go with 2 tight ends and another running back, bring him in motion to the side they're running the football, and Brigham Young just stuffs that play for a loss.
Matt Gangwish comes into the ball game for BYU, joining Goolsby. A little more muscle in the backfield on this play. They fake the pitch, and it is popped in and out of the hands of Kaipo McGuire, of Kevin Lockett, pardon me.
Tim McTire, good coverage that time, Tim. He just came up on that slant pattern and knocked the ball away. He's had a pretty solid game. We talked a lot about Canty, but there's a guy right there that's all whack and showing it today.
It'll be 3rd down and 12. Lockett, Hackney, Anderson, and Dean. 4 wideouts in for the Wildcats. The sack back at the 7-yard line. That's 4 on the day for BYU, and this time it's Henry Bloomfield.
Oh, we've talked all day long about that great defense from Kansas State, but Bloomfield gets through on a stunt, goes up the field, and makes the sack. What they did that time, they took 3 wide receivers. BYU counted with 4 defensive backs to that side, and they doubled at the top Lockett.
A short punt. Takes a Wildcat roll and goes out at the 50-yard line. 42 yards with the luck of the bounce. And BYU will start from midfield, but there was a flag down back at the line of scrimmage on the 4th down play. The Wildcats hustled in to get their punt play off, something BYU did back in the first quarter. And there is a flag down.
Holding on the receiving team. Post scrimmage kick spot. 10-yard foul. First down.
Holding on the receiving team. That's BYU. So that'll back them up to the 40-yard line. 4:59 to play. BYU will have the ball, trailing by 3.
If children are a blessing, then grandchildren are truly a gift. They renew our hope, they recapture our youth. And as grandparents, you want to give them something in return. So perhaps you should consider giving your grandchildren life insurance from State Farm. It's a personal and flexible gift that you can add to as they grow, to help give them financial security for many years to come. Let your State Farm agent help you ensure that their days will be as bright as they made yours.
I love sports. Come on, baby. Well, that's why we got Prime Star. Come on. Some might even say I'm a sports maniac.
No.
See, Prime Star's got more sports than even I can watch in digital picture and sound. Yeah! Prime Star's the best deal on satellite TV. There is no equipment to buy. And it all starts at about $1 a day. I might be a maniac, but I am not crazy.
For the best value in satellite TV, call 1-800-PRIME-STAR or visit your local Radio Shack.
There's the picture at sold-out Cotton Bowl Stadium, 15-12 K-State over BYU with just under 5 minutes to go. And here's how the touchdowns in this game occurred. The last play of the half, Kavanaugh with a Hail Mary. Bounces around off the hands of defenders, comes down into the hands of Andre Anderson. And that gave them their first lead after they trailed 5-0. And then it was Lockett shaking loose from the defender, going 72 yards for the score. And then Steve Sarkisian finding James Dye over Dimitrik Denmark, and the little guy bowling his way into the end zone for their only touchdown of the game so far. The high-scoring BYU Cougars have been stifled by the brilliant defense of Kansas State, and time is now a factor. 4:59 to go. It is BYU ball at their own 40-yard line. Sarkisian with protection to the tight end Lewis, who holds on for the first down. Mario Smith on the tackle, but the ball into K-State territory at the 43. 17 yards on the pickup. Lewis's 5th catch of the afternoon. BYU without their All-American Itula Mealy, and Chad Lewis, the other tight end, really stepping up today, along with Mealy, an all-WAC member of the first team. Western Athletic Conference, 5 catches, 79 yards for Chad Lewis, a senior from Orem, Utah, not far from Provo. Shotgun on first down, Sarkisian. Up the middle, that's complete. To the 31-yard line, another BYU first down.
Tim, the big difference right now, BYU's offensive line is doing a good job of protecting their quarterback, and we've said all day long, you give this guy protection, he's going to find the open guy. They like to release 5 guys upfield. Kaipo McGuire does a great job coming back to the football. You know, he's a guy from Hawaii, he likes to surf. He said, hey, defensive backs don't bother me. It's the sharks when I'm out surfing.
That's a good call. That's a good call. First down at the 31-yard line. BYU driving, 4:04 to play. Sarkisian moving in the pocket, trying to find an open man. He'll run it, takes it out of bounds at the 28-yard line of the Kansas State Wildcats. See where they marked that? Yes, at the 28.
Pretty good protection again that time. Looking upfield for somebody, can't find anybody. Again, shows some of that little bit of savvy, a little bit of quickness here to get out of the pocket and gain a couple of yards for his team.
Call it a 4-yard gain for the quarterback. Well, officially a 3-yard pickup. 2nd and 7. Lewis moves back in to make a strong side right. Sarkisian changing it up. Just got away from Timmons. Now upfield, and the catch is made, and what a hit. The ball came loose. McGuire, did he make the catch? No, incomplete, and it was Mario Smith who knocked the ball out and the helmet off. Trainers out quickly as that hit took the helmet right off the head of McGuire. He's trying to get up. The trainers are keeping him safely down until they make sure he's all right. There's the shot from Mario Smith, the senior from Miami, Florida.
If you watch Kaipo, he gets held down later on down in the play. Or that was Kealua that got held. And watch the ball come right in. Boom! Big hit. Helmet off. Mario Smith jars the ball loose, incomplete.
94 tackles for the all Big 12 safety coming into this game, 60 of them solo. And he really put a lick on McGuire. That was a huge play there because it was going to be another BYU first down.
The way his reaction, I've seen it before, I've had it, it looked like he may have a bit of a concussion there. The way his arm and head were on the ground, I don't think he has a clue where he is right now.
There's a tough young guy, but they'll take him off, and we're glad to see him up on his feet.
I know that look, Tim, and he doesn't know where he is right now. He's a tough kid, makes the catch. Boy, his helmet just comes right off of his head. Watch his arm. He's got a concussion.
You have that look most of the time, Phil.
I've been hitting the head one too many times, my friend. I'll tell you, if they give him smelling salts and he breathes in, takes a big whiff of it, and his head doesn't move, you know he's gone.
See, they're talking to him and just trying to assess whether or not he does have some concussion symptoms. So he is safely on the sideline, and meanwhile, it is 3rd down and 7. Call it a long 6. Chris Canty has returned to the sideline of Kansas State. Huge play here, 3:45 to go. Good protection. It's for Kealua, touchdown. No flags. BYU on top. 3:39 to play. Kealua from Makawao, Hawaii. The senior comes up. Looked to me like he might have broken off his pattern here.
Yeah, he ran a post corner right here, and the defender, Chapman, reaches out his arm to grab him. Can't stop him. Had him totally fooled. What's surprising about that is Chapman had help inside and could have given it up a little bit, but he went for the post and got burnt by Kealua.
There he is, KO, with what could be the KO punch against the Wildcats of Kansas State. 3:39 to play. BYU has regained the lead.
Indicated that a penalty was against BYU, but I think he's got it the wrong way, the official that time. KO making up for his buddy McGuire going down with a big hit on the play before.
There's McGuire still being attended to on the BYU bench. We did not see a flag on the play. Here's the referee again.
We'll be administered on the kickoff.
I think that's a celebration penalty there.
That's what it is. It occurred after he was in the end zone. Did he do the hula or something that I missed?
I don't know if anybody threw him a hoop.
I didn't see that.
But he did a hula on that post corner, I'll tell you that.
And the point after is good from Potchman.
He's the bigger of the two wide receivers at 6'2", 200 pounds for Brigham Young. Not as quick as Capo McGuire, but plenty quick enough and ran a great post corner that time. He said that they'd probably have a parade for him in his hometown of Maui, the island, when he gets back after this game, win, lose, or draw, Tim.
Here's another look at it, Phil.
Yeah, he starts in on the post. Chapman really bites. He turns his head in, sticks that right leg. Chapman's going the other way. All he can do is throw his arms out to knock him off his pattern. And Sarkisian, again, there was a blitz that time by Kansas State, picked up nicely by Brigham Young's offense, and that guy right there can deliver the ball when you give him time.
Well, and maybe they called that penalty on Sarkisian. He's got a lot of stuff going out there in the middle of the field.
A little hula there himself.
Well, I think that's probably some kind of Armenian folk dance, being as that's his heritage. Steve Sarkisian.
You know, he came pretty close. I saw his father in the lobby the other day. He said that Steve was pretty close to going to Kansas State. In fact, he talked to Brian Cavanaugh, the Wildcat quarterback, at that visit.
They'll have to kick off from the 20-yard line. Canty has returned. Now remember, Canty out of there. That's why Chapman was on the corner and was victimized by BYU, as had been Denmark before him. So Canty coming back from some treatment for dehydration, presumably getting some fluids in, and he has returned to the field. Out there on this kickoff return team, Hodgman has kicked the ball awfully well today, and he gets it down inside the 10, but it's Canty. Chris Canty, always dangerous here. Flags are down, he gets to the 38-yard line. A 30-yard return for Chris Canty, and a flag down on the kickoff play.
You know, it's got to be against the return team. Any time you see a yellow flag on a kickoff or punt return, bet it's on the return team.
Holding on the receiving team, 10 yards, first down.
We're over there consoling Chapman, number 17, who gave up the big touchdown to KO. His teammates are rallying around him because they know they may need him later in this game, especially if they're to get ahead.
That 21st completion that went for the touchdown by Sarkisian ties the Cotton Bowl record set by Roger Staubach, the old Navy quarterback back in 1964. 21 completions by Sarkisian, tying that mark set by Roger Staubach a long time ago. Kansas State with 3:32 on the clock. Cavanaugh goes to work. Cavanaugh's pass complete to the tight end. Tight end goes Didier. First down to the 45-yard line.
Well, they need a touchdown, down by 4 points right here. Field goal will do them no good. BYU's defense, although they've given up 2 touchdowns, only one bad play all day, and that was the slant and run by Kevin Lockett. You can't really blame him for the Hail Mary pass.
19-15. BYU leading. First down, Kansas State at their own 44. From the shotgun. Cavanaugh runs out of time, and he'll run it. Gets back just over the line of scrimmage for a gain of a yard. Byron Frisch, defensive tackle number 93, a freshman from Bonita, California, makes the stop. Cavanaugh, 11 of 21. Smile Wyron on the bench, very intense defensive end. He's had a solid game. The entire K-State defense has played brilliantly today. This is Lawrence. Lawrence digging hard, gets out to midfield. Pick up a 4. Lawrence has carried the ball virtually all day long for K-State. They haven't given Marlon Charles much of a look. 23 carries, 54 yards for Lawrence.
defensive backs in the game right now for Brigham Young.
Ben Cook, the nickelback, number 30. Running McTire, Ellison, Sampson, and Morgan. Kavanaugh, incomplete, intended for Andre Anderson. Couldn't bring it in. He had open space to catch the ball, with McTire coming up to make the defensive play.
Yeah, McTire that time had Lockett out on the outside, drove him to the inside, and then he had the guy Anderson that came outside, and Anderson just flat dropped the football right there, or that could have been going the distance.
2:02 left, 4th down. They will go. They need 5 for a first. A game full of unusual plays, a couple of missed calls in our view, a lot of drama. Number 5 BYU, number 14 Kansas State. They are 8 of 15 on 4th down conversions, and this is the biggest one they've had all season. Kavanaugh changed the play from the shotgun. He's got a man. First down, Lockett. Inside the 40. Kavanaugh coolly finding his main man, Kevin Lockett.
I'll tell you what, 4th down, I would have put 3 guys over to blanket number 83, Kevin Lockett. You know that they're going to go to him every time. McTire out there, Martin goes out to help, but it's not enough. And that's a great throw by Brian Kavanaugh, Tim.
First down, Kansas State at the 39. Lockett, 5 catches, 107 yards. He averages 8 catches a game. From the shotgun again, Brian Kavanaugh up the middle. It's batted down. Yancey, Darren Yancey, normally a defensive end, playing at the right tackle spot today because of the injury to Harlan Ayu. And he knocks down the pass on first down.
Watch the linebackers come this time. Shea Muirbrook and Brad Martin get upfield, put some pressure on, but it's Yancey who stonewalled at the line of scrimmage, just gets those big paws up on the ball, and at 6'6", he's got that kind of ability.
1:54 on the clock, 2nd and 10 at the 39 of BYU. Cougars defense has played very well today against Kansas State. They did not have the reputation of the Wildcats, but now the pressure is on the D of BYU. Kavanaugh to Lockett, a great catch. Had to reach from behind and pull it in. First down to the 26-yard line. Omar Morgan had the coverage and made the tackle.
On the slant pattern, again, we're talking about this guy. You're going to him just about every time they need a big play.
And he loves that. He wants the ball in these situations. He expects it. 1:44. They need a touchdown. They trail by 4. Kavanaugh runs it out of bounds inside the 20. They'll spot it at the 17-yard line.
Great play calling that time by Kansas State, and Bill Snyder's team right now mixing it up, keeping them off guard. In fact, early on, that incompletion to Andre Anderson, they caught Brigham Young in a tough defense, and if they could have converted that, they would have had a touchdown. But they're coming up with all big plays right now, all smart plays.
Kansas State rebounding from the touchdown they gave up. Marching the length of the field here, time winding down. 1:34 in the red zone. Good protection. Kavanaugh to his left. He's got a man wide open. Lockett out of bounds. He could not come down with it, even though he made a brilliant catch. Kevin Lockett diving and leaping to make the catch.
Is this guy fun to watch or what? McTire down there just standing around, and he gets behind him. Lockett does, pushes him out of bounds. The foot does not come down in. That's a good call that time by the official. It's a different rule in college. If you push him out, it's no good. His foot is on the line, the left foot, good call by the official. In pro football, if you could have come down inbounds without the hit, they would give it to you. Not in college.
3rd down, they need 2 for a first. 1:25 on the clock. 3 wideouts to the left. Kavanaugh changing up again. 1 second on the clock. They just got the play off. Kavanaugh starts to run, and he's out of bounds, short of the first down, and he may not have got the flag, the play off before the flag, signaling The 0's on the clock. Delay of game it is.
And that's number 3 on them, Tim.
Ball, delay of the game on the offense. 3rd down.
What a finish we have here in the Cotton Bowl. Time goes back to 1:25 on the clock. Kavanaugh is 13 of 26 at this point, 217 yards, 2 touchdowns. We've got more football ahead tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern. The Fiesta Bowl from Tempe, Penn State, and Texas. Jim Nance and Terry Donahue will be there to bring you that one. Michelle Tafoya will be on the sidelines. We look forward to watching that action tonight from Tempe. Joe Didier lines up on the left side, the tight end making it strong left. On 3rd down, he's buried. Kavanaugh calls timeout immediately, flat on his back. Again, it's Shea Muirbrook, his 4th sack. 5 on the day for BYU. 1:23. Good job by Kavanaugh to take the hit and get the timeout signal, stopping the clock at 1:23.
Well, great players make big plays in big games. And there's a great player right there, middle linebacker Shea Muirbrook. When you need a play, you go to your co-captain, WAC Defensive Player of the Year, 2-time Butkus Award finalist.
5th sack of the day, 33 yards lost by K-State. And this BYU defense being asked to rise up and stop Kansas State. So far, they've been able to do it. But there's one more down here for the Wildcats. It'll be 4th and 12.
It's ironic right now that we focus so much on BYU's offense, the great defense at Kansas State, but the game right now is hanging in the balance by KSU's offense and Brigham Young's defense. They've both been underrated all season long, but they've shown today that they're squads to be reckoned with.
Kavanaugh and Sarkisian are very similar quarterbacks.
Well, you give both of those guys time, they'll pick you apart. Again, Kavanaugh's hung in the pocket, makes right decisions, and is a strong quarterback with a big-time arm.
1:23 remains, regulation time. Of course, Kansas State must score a touchdown here because they are down by 4 points. They cannot force overtime with a field goal. They've got to win it in this final 1:23. Lockett out to the right. Dean in the slot right. Lawrence, the lone running back, lined up with the quarterback, Kavanaugh. Kavanaugh gets some time. It is caught by Lockett. 1st down, Wildcats. To the 12-yard line. .117. Clock stopped with a completed pass. Now it's rolling. Kavanaugh calling the play at the line of scrimmage. 12th play of this drive as we approach the 1-minute mark. Intercepted. Omar Morgan at the 4-yard line. 55 seconds to play. Intended receiver was Jimmy Dean. Morgan, the junior from Los Angeles, makes his 5th interception of the year and the biggest of his college career. Number 1's got to feel like number 1 right now.
They ran a slant to his side of the field. He read it beautifully, stepped in front of Kavanaugh's pass, tipped it to himself, picked it off, and that could be the game.
Kavanaugh done such a great job bringing the Wildcats down the field in that long drive. 13 plays, had them ready to score with a winning touchdown. And Omar Morgan comes up big for BYU. Sarkisian takes the kneel down. And the clock starts to tick below 50.
BYU came with 2 linebackers on the strong side, blitzed that time. Again, Morgan steps right in front of Jimmy Dean, tips the ball to himself, and again, the biggest interception of his career.
Kansas State took a timeout. They have 1 more left.
Yeah, well, there's 50 seconds to go, and they've got enough time for Brigham Young right now. They can just run the clock out with 50 seconds.
Sorry, that is their final timeout. Their final timeout. BYU can just get rid of this clock, and they will become the first team to win 14 games in a Division I 1A picture. And you can see in the top dogs, most single-season wins, 13. They've been there before. They won the national championship in 1984, but this is the first time they made it to 14 victories. And, of course, I guess if you played some fantasy football, Ohio State beats Arizona State, Florida beats Florida State. There'll be some votes probably for BYU.
Make an argument,
at least
anyway.
all from Utah to be
right.
number 1. They're presently ranked number 5. 50 seconds remain. No timeouts left for Kansas State. Sarkisian with another kneel down. And what a job by the BYU defense in this situation against Kansas State today. They came up with the big plays when they needed them. They were solid all afternoon long, and the Kansas State defense, you can't say enough about them, holding the high-powered offense of BYU to just 19 points.
Well, they were playing for more than themselves today, being with these guys the last couple of days. They were playing for the WAC conference and for respect, not only for Brigham Young, but for the WAC. We've heard about the Big 12 and Kansas State thinking that they were going to be more physical. Well, I think they were matched today by Brigham Young University in the physical department.
Time winding down. That's going to do it. Talking about the Kansas State defense, we certainly don't want to overlook Bob Cope back home in Manhattan battling cancer. What a great job he did as the defensive coordinator until his illness. Congratulations to Kansas State and the Wildcats, but it is BYU's afternoon. 19-15 our final score. The Cougars win the Cotton Bowl. Let's go to Steve Davis.
Right. Lavelle. Coach, congratulations.
Oh, that was unbelievable.
You were the happiest guy in the group.
Oh, man, 2 big plays, and just we're fighting all day long, but our guys hung in there, and I'm real proud of them. Kansas State's a great defensive football team.
What about the national championship? Does this vindicate you?
Nah, I don't worry about that. We just have had a marvelous year. The guys have played great all year long, and been a long time, but they've hung in there and played well all year long.
You're getting pretty good at this January 1. You ought to try it again.
Well, try it again.
That's right. Let's go back to Tim.
All right, Steve, for Phil McConkey and Steve Davis, I'm Tim Ryan saying so long from the Southwestern Bell Cotton Bowl Classic, where the final score, the Cougars of BYU 19, Kansas State 15. Coming up tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern.